Yep. Alright. Yep. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crabby D&D. I am here with my players. Going down the list, because we haven't got a Harlan yet. We haven't got a Jamie today. Simon. Simon is here, I swear. Sudz.
Yes, I am.
Sudz.
Hello there.
Sam. Sam.
Hello.
And Infernal.
Hello.
Okay. Thank goodness that the other two didn't just wait half a minute so they thought you weren't there. That I weren't there. Yes, English good.
That I weren't there, innit, blood?
Yes, English good.
Indeed.
So, usual announcements. Thank you to Nessa for all the artwork. You see, every bit of artwork that you see here has otherwise been done by her. Tile-wise, for every single one of these was done by her. You can go and check out the link down below in both YouTube and Twitch. Maps were made on Incarnate.com. I made them. I take commissions. And all the music and audio comes from Tabletop Audio. You can go and check that out. And they are completely free and wonderful. Wonderful individual owns the entire thing and just does it because does it. So I recommend going and looking that through. Alrighty then. Well, without further ado, I think we should just get started, shall we not? Last session, our party of adventurers. After spending some time with Elsyan and Sasha's wedding coming to a close, a drunken Elsyan challenged his mother about various events, specifically more related to the fact that she may be the villain within his entire campaign, which was turned on its head even in his drunken stupor. He managed to come through with the aid of Sasha, realizing what he had done, accusing her of such events, with her leaving. Heading off elsewhere, Elsyan followed suit with the remainder of his companions after learning the truth through a divine intervention to figure out what exactly had happened during Elsyan's past. With the discovery that it might be Delman, a figure mentioned only by Sovek within the past, the party otherwise followed suit, proceeding to do their own investigations in certain ways before teleporting to the Elven Kingdom. Going and talking to Elsyan's father and checking up on his younger sister Kira, they discovered that she was perfectly well and in good health, and his father had otherwise had some form of memory blot placed on him, similar to that of his mother. With this now beginning to unravel, Delman being at the heart of it, they challenged him. Speaking to him within his own home, he was very forthcoming and was willing to otherwise aid them, wanting to tell the truth and be free of the burden which he had otherwise slaved to hide for so long within his past. With this now beginning to unravel and the party noticing all of this, Elsyan made a single curse to Mask at that time. And with it came the tide of Mask's envoys and individuals, raiders and traders, turning up and taking what they wanted, striking against both Delman's home and Adamanthia simultaneously. With the party arriving in Adamanthia a little bit too late after the attack had already started, the party's individuals, Queglod and Bern, took down a nautiloid, badly damaging it as it fled back from whence it came into the Astral Sea, with the rest of the party protecting their tavern and their friends before splitting up. Some going to face Shariel, others staying back at the tavern. With this, Elsyan felt a presence within his mind. Speaking to it, it spoke back to him in a sinister tone. Almost a taunting one, yet one that was welcome and happy at his presence of showing up within the city, as if it had been expecting him almost. With this now beginning to unravel, Elsyan challenged it, saying that Sasha could not be killed. And as much as that may have been true in some senses, it took that challenge a bit too close to home for Elsyan's liking. As it did, it returned up at the tavern, striking down Sasha simply, clean blows, no damage taken to itself, and knocking out all of your guests. It fought against Sasha, knocking her out, before turning to Malcom, who was in dragon form at the time, and telling him to leave a message for Elsyan. A rather major message. With this unravelling in its current form, Elsyan began to realise what he had done. And after speaking to it the night before, or the night after all of these events had happened, after his wedding day had happened, the party went there, using a wish to show up and turning up to the presence of whatever this creature was, the scion of Maldoras by the name of Mask. As it fought the party before throwing them off, giving Sasha back, and offering to let them leave, if they so wished, for it had been entertained and wished to see the fireworks between Ringar and the party. With it now unfolding, and the party in this scenario, they then returned home, seconds after they'd left, individuals who were still weeping over them leaving, still in the process of doing so, clutching those close to them, and still somewhat worried at the party's well-being. But as you each returned, landing on your tavern floors once again, back home, with Sasha in tow this time, Malcolm's family approached him and otherwise enveloped him in a group hug, kind of holding him to their own, while Sasha and Elsyan went off to spend some time together. Bern, Queglod, and Rook otherwise stand within the rest of this. Rook approaches and otherwise speaks to Nagriel. As Malcom, Queglod, and Bern, you are left in the tavern with all of your guests around you, with Sasha and Elsyan wandering off to the back. Is there anything you wish to do?
I would like to speak with Queglod.
You sure?
This is about Delm.
Go on.
I just want to put in my bit of information that I have and leave you with it, and you can make a decision with the information that I have. For now, I don't think it's a good idea to kill Delmy.
May I ask why?
Going back to what he was talking about in the Elven Kingdoms about the psionics and stuff, about bringing up people who can fight with psionic. I don't know if there are very many others that could do what he can. And if he's not around to be able to do that, I don't think the Elven Kingdoms will survive when what comes next comes. It's my belief currently to let him live for now and let him do that. Otherwise, if things go very poorly, Elsyan could lose his entire home. And I don't think that's something that any of us would want.
No, you're quite correct. If I were not mindful of the consequences of it, I'd have simply killed him the moment we met. I knew at that time that what he was guilty of. I've allowed him to stay alive thus far in order to gather information, and in order to understand what the consequences of his death would bring. As it is, there's still more information we can gather, and I have now a better understanding of those consequences, but there could be more that we need to learn. So it is not my intention to kill him at this precise moment. However, it's not my intention to simply let him live indefinitely, just in case he could be useful.
Understandable.
If he's killed under mysterious circumstances, Elsyan's family comes under fire. If there is a way to prevent that, I would like to do that before taking him out. But if there isn't, then I have no choice. Similarly, if he's putting plans into work to help protect the Elven Kingdoms, I would like to help those come to fruition before taking him to justice, but if that's not an option, then I have no choice.
Understandable.
I do want to be smart about this, but what has to happen? The details can be played around with, but there is no questioning of the eventual outcome.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you understand.
Yeah,
I know my people's ways can be difficult for many people to get behind.
well, I don't truly understand it all, but you are a friend, and so I will be there to help with whatever you need.
Okay. Thank you, Malcom. I hope that I can be there for you as well. When things of this important come.
Of course.
Okay. Anything else you wish to do? Any other discussions that wish to be had? Did you
Other
have
than
anything you wish to do, Bern?
Not that I can think of immediately.
Okay.
Refresh my memory, what was the Plague Lord's name again?
Markov.
Call him by that name. Markov, okay. Right, yes, if he's still here, I'd like to head over to him quickly.
Yeah, he's still here. He's currently taking a seat on one of the nearby kind of just chairs at one of the tables, a little bit kind of separated off from everybody else.
Okay. I'm gonna head over to him briefly then. Right. First of all, thank you for your help back there.
You're welcome. I was glad that I was able to help, but somewhat.
No, it was a difficult situation. Even the slightest nudge either way would have made all the difference there. You really pulled through for us. I don't want to leave you with too big of a task, but there is something I would ideally like you to look into for me.
I'll do what I can.
Okay, I'm going to give him the I'm going to give him the Dead Man's Brew. I have a full bottle of it. I was wondering if you could hold on to this for me, since you're an expert in poisons and all of their various applications. I was hoping that you could figure out why it's so different.
I'll look into it. Alcohol isn't entirely my speciality, but there is a brewery
That's understandable.
back at Moskvola, and I'm sure if I were to hand it over and ask them to try and figure out what it is and how it's made, it might be a worthy venture for them.
Do I hear this?
Does he hear this, Queglod?
I'm not being super quiet about it, and I will have pulled out the bottle to hand it over to him.
Yeah?
So I assume so.
Yeah?
Okay. If I heard what they're talking about, I'll go over and say, we could also give a small amount to Gree. He's been distilling blood, so I'd assume he can also try and do it.
Markov kind of looks at you. If you've only got the one bottle and you've got a dedicated potion master, I'd imagine it might be worth giving it to them, but I mean, there's a brewery back at home who can figure this stuff out. It's up to you whether you wish to try and whether you're looking to decipher this or recreate it or find out its raw ingredients.
This is it's a substance that completely repels all restorative magic. I want to get to the bottom of how it's able to do that.
Yes, I must admit I'm also curious.
Well,
The fact that it affected me as well, of all things, that it cut through my abilities.
well, that was what truly got my attention with it. I'd initially assumed it was just incredibly potent alcohol, but
But it's
there's
cutting
clearly more
through
to it.
something very powerful, very strong, seeing as I'm usually immune to all these intoxications.
Well, I do have 2 bottles. One of them is opened now, and some of it's gone, but I'll hold on to the second one.
Very well.
Or you may be able to do something with it.
In which case, if you have... Well, he looks over. If you can get me a bottle, I can pour some out and you can give it to your friend Gree, was it? And I can take the rest and give it to the brewer and see if what he has to say about it.
Okay.
Alright, very well then. He takes the bottle, otherwise kind of places it amongst his things. Now, it's a shame the wedding turned out the way it did, but all's well that ends well.
I suppose so.
I do hope that the new couple enjoy their gifts.
Well, they've earned them.
And please give them a thank you from me. I would not be in this position if it weren't for your abilities to pull through. And in my current situation, I imagine that's a relatively big deal for myself. It's a shame that it happened so late in my life, but I am grateful nonetheless.
It's quite alright. I'm glad that you were able to come back from the state you were in before all this happened. What will you do now? Back to Moskvola?
Back to Moskvola. Probably conduct normal sermons, keep doing what I do until I'm called to do something else by Silencer. Or go on a pilgrimage or two. We'll see. I've heard there are other areas that otherwise follow Silencer. But yes, a quiet life. I think I'll enjoy that for now.
Well, after all your efforts recently, I think you've earned it. Good luck.
You have too. It's a shame that you've still got more on your plate.
We're working through it.
I'm afraid I wouldn't be much help versus your parents, but from what I've
It's
heard
quite
you
alright.
say
You've done
previously,
more than enough already.
I'm glad to hear. Well, he otherwise picks himself up, grabs his things. I'll be off then.
Okay. I
Bid
hold
you
out a
off.
hand.
He holds out his,
Okay.
takes it.
I shake his hand then. It's
Yeah.
been good to meet you, and to fight alongside you.
And you. I'm glad it all turned out as it did. And he kind of nods to you, Bern. From the opposite side of the room, he lifts a hand and waves to you, Malcolm, from across the room.
I wave back.
He leaves, kind of clutching his things, heading out the door and leaving.
Alright.
Rook is still outside, as if you remember from the end of last session. Delman went outside and kind of began breaking down outside, with Rook kind of watching over him to make sure he didn't try and do a runner or do anything drastic.
Okay. I would be interested in checking up on him. However, speaking of having a lot on your plate, my dinner is ready. I will be back in 1 minute.
Very well. Malcolm,
Yes.
it is at this time that you receive a message.
Oh yeah.
Sending, or in this case, as you know, your Druid spell. As you hear a
Yeah.
response from the Queen saying, "Very well. If I do not hear from you again in the next day or so, I will assume that you have passed on. Good luck."
Huh. Yes. I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit.
There.
Yeah, that's just gonna sit there for a little bit.
Fair enough.
And he's busy.
Pretend he's busy in the middle of a fight or getting ready for an emotional moment to fight a boss. It's like, nope, done it. We're home. Don't mind us.
I don't feel like explaining
Hmm.
that.
Your family
Plus,
does.
I have no spell slots to actually send another one back to her.
Oh, 24 hours it'll be then. So, as this happens, your guests do begin to slowly but surely kind of trickle out and leave. Regan does leave, is probably one of the first few to leave, as he does kind of look at the rest of you. Well, it's been fun for the wedding. It's been eventful. Shame it turned out the way it did. But please give my regards to the newlywed. And if you ever need me, I'll be in Oregon. Well, most likely. Probably got some rebuilding to do around town, so if you need me, let me know. I may not be much help, but I got authority should you need it.
Of course, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting. He nods and otherwise leaves. Of the other guests who are still here, Maverick does otherwise kind of, after having his arms crossed, kind of waiting for your return and seeing your return, you kind of look over and you note that he has what looks to be left something on the table but is otherwise gone.
Oh. Does it look like package or a note or?
Going over, you see that it seems to be a piece of paper with what looks to be almost this stone ring on top of it.
Well, if there's anything written on the paper, I'll read the paper.
Okay. Reading the paper, you see it reads, "Sorry I left so soon. I couldn't think of what to get them. Hopefully this will suffice." You see this otherwise kind of almost stone ring with a metallic bar around the outside of it, with what looks to be intricate runes and carvings across the surface of the stone, with what looks to be kind of this light silver chain that hangs off of it.
Interesting. I will put it with the other gifts.
Okay.
And I'll put the note with it too.
Okay. So, who else is there?
Can Elsyan come down at this point?
I'll say kind of where Sasha is otherwise upstairs and otherwise getting prepared. and Elsyan comes getting unsuited from a suit of armor, which would take half an hour. You come downstairs.
I imagine like Elsyan sits there for like 10 minutes and just like, nope, bored. Tell me when the armor's off.
You come downstairs, otherwise heading back to the kind of the main area. You see that a few of the guests have left. Markov, Maverick, and Regan are the first ones to go. It's at this point that Abod, you can see at the end of the hallway, is otherwise kind of crouched by his broken tower. And you watch as he kind of has this heavy sigh and a hanging head as he otherwise just gets back up.
Elson's gonna go over, put a hand on his shoulder, just... We can rebuild it.
I know, it's just...
It was all the other spells you put on it as well, and...
Oh, the wards... I mean, I imagine they all went off.
The teleportation circle.
The teleportation circle that I'd spent...
That... I know. Oh... This is gonna happen anyway, I think.
Yeah...
Might not have been so destructive if we stuck around here last night, but...
maybe.
Maybe not.
Oh well. I'll just have to rebuild. I'll probably scavenge through and see if I can recover any of my old things on the other one, which I probably can.
If there's anything I can do to help, or just let me know. I'm sure that goes for the rest of the party as well.
If you can send Rook out, he can help lift stones. But don't do that today. Enough's happened today. By all means, get some rest, and we'll look through the rest of it in the coming few days.
Well, true. Maybe I could use the wish spell.
He otherwise looks at you. They tend not to go so well unless you have an intended purpose in mind.
Intended purpose is building the tower back to what it once was. But
you could. I mean, I'm not against it, but...
It could end badly.
It could end badly, so...
I have to look up some spells that may do the job in themselves. Fabricate? That'll do part of it.
I mean, if it's moving rocks, telekinesis if you have it.
I'm sure I've got... a few months ago I bought a load of scrolls that I haven't bothered to put into my spellbook yet. I'm sure I've got telekinesis somewhere.
Anyway, this is a trouble for another time.
Of course. It'll be repairable.
It will.
It could be worse. You could be stuck in some crypt underneath a bookcase.
He just gives you a glance. Very true. He gives you a smirk, and you otherwise head back into the rest of the tavern.
He's a skeleton. All he can do is smile.
He's not a skeleton, remember? He restored himself.
He's still a skeleton to me.
Inside he is. He's just got flesh armor now.
Aren't we all just skeletons and a meat mech?
No, it's a brain riding a bone mech with flesh armor.
Oh god.
And emotions as a power source. Anyway.
Fuck.
Let's see, who else would still be there? Delman? No, Delman's outside. Nagriel's there, currently talking to Rook. Shishkri's still there. Malcolm's family's still there, and Osric is there. However, Osric seems to be packing up his things.
Osric look like he's going, does he?
Yeah, that's Sasha's mentor.
Gonna go over and talk to Osric then. If I see that he's packing stuff up to leave.
Okay. Rest of you watch as Elsyan walks in, and otherwise walks over to Osric, who's otherwise just slinging a pack over his shoulder.
Osric.
Elsyan.
I see you're packing up to go.
Yeah, too much adventure for me, I think. And it's good to see that Sasha's returned and all in good health. You'll give her my regards. Just, you know.
I will. Just, I promise to take better care of Sasha in the future.
I'm not sure there's too many who'd be able to take care of something like that on their own. Don't be too hard on yourself for that.
Sasha got hurt because of me. I'm gonna make sure that at least I'm not the cause of it in the future.
Well, you can always learn from your past. You can never learn from the future. You got to experience it first. Anyhow.
As he just sort of smiles at that wisdom. From what he's Osric's a dwarf, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking wise dwarves.
Yep.
Too many of them in Elsyan's life.
Sorry if the gift isn't for both of you. Hopefully
Yeah, don't worry about it.
you might find a use for it. I don't know if you... Are you into smithing at all?
I dabble when I had my when I was a bit psionic, but
Yeah.
haven't really had a chance. Not picking it back up again.
Might be a bit short on you then, but I'm sure you'll find a use for it. He otherwise kind of gives you a pat on the elbow. Right, long trek ahead of me. Better get going.
Safe travels.
Good luck to you too. Hopefully all goes better after the interesting events that have been happening.
Honestly, I don't think I could get much worse than all of this.
He
Malcolm
inhales
just yells
sharply.
Like
Malcolm just
the
yells
entire room just goes.
Malcolm yells across the room. Elsyan, did you not learn?
What? Oh, by the mask, no. Oh, no, right? Okay. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna not say anything until dawn.
Probably
get
best. Well, hope you all stay safe. Thanks for the invite. And he heads out the door, giving the rest of you a wave. There's a shout of goodbye, Osric, from upstairs window. The Sasha shouts that from upstairs. Okay. Anybody else you wish to speak with?
I think Elsyan's just trying to make a point of saying goodbye to people as they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Apologising for how this went horribly wrong.
This is true. Well, Malcolm, you've got to take your family home, so you decide when they leave.
They have to wait till tomorrow. I don't have the spell slots.
Oh, that's fine. They'll stick around and explore the city that's been under attack. So you know.
Fine. It's fine.
And I will be apologizing because I did not expect for this to happen.
Why do I feel a pointed glare coming towards me? I don't know why, but I felt a pointed glare.
They're welcome to the fact that they get to stay here an extra day, and they're happy to otherwise kind of stick around and help out if need be.
Ooh,
So, anything else? Anybody else you wish to talk to or discuss with? Delman is outside, and the other guests are otherwise leaving and or heading off, and you kind of say goodbye to those who otherwise get back to their business now.
Well, I think I know I need to talk to Delman, but probably best to talk to party members first before I do that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna wander over to Queglod. So, Queglod. Delman. My dear uncle. I'm guessing you want him sort of Elton sort of gestures killing
That's
him.
the plan, yeah.
Yes.
Initially, when we went over there, it seemed like you were on board with that, so I didn't really raise the issue.
He had.
If you're now in disagreement, then I suppose we do need to talk about this.
I don't think it's a case of right away, and quite frankly, eventually his own magic will kill him. If it keeps going the way it is. Every time he casts a spell, he seems to get hurt more and more. But, I don't agree that he should stay alive, but I agree that he should definitely die. It's more the method and tale we tell around it. I think that it should also be dealt with as a family matter.
I'm okay with that. It is no different. It makes no difference to me how exactly it's happened.
Okay, just
He seemed to be of the opinion that you should be the one to do it,
did I?
didn't he? Am I misremembering?
I wasn't in the room.
That is correct. Both of you
I
are.
was out.
Okay,
So-
that just confirms that I'm not going mad.
Yes.
This was something he mentioned. You should probably speak to him about it.
Oh
It seems to
boy.
me something will happen when you kill him.
Why do I feel like it's going to be some psionic bullshit? If you find that I start talking like Delman, just Eldritch blast me in the face as many times as you can, please.
Will do.
I don't think he's going to hijack my mind, but it's not a zero possibility.
To be honest, I'm not sure what will happen.
Hmm.
He seems to think there'll be something, though.
This idea about this.
The main problem, as I see it, is the threat to your family.
His
If
death suspicious leads to investigations, leads to them finding out about the psionic stuff. We may just about be able to get under the radar with our blunders earlier, but I say my blunders earlier.
All in the past.
Well, maybe in front of the knights who are entirely trained to kill psionic creatures and people and hate them with a passion, maybe I shouldn't mention my family's psionic in front of them. That is a problem.
It didn't seem like they believed you initially, but we are
That-
going to have to look into that.
We're going to have to make sure that rumors will be abound. And I hate to say it, but his ideas for the System Foundation isn't necessarily stupid. Just he's trying to make it quick and easy, and that, as we know, doesn't work.
To the extent that his plans don't involve necromancy, they might be salvageable.
I think the necromancy was just because my grandfather is a dick.
Yeah, we noticed.
Did he do anything particularly strange?
Other than holding his arm in his other arm. That was weird.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't remember much of my grandfather. He is or was always what's the word? Eccentric.
Hmm.
Did he throw a skull at people? Start a revolution?
Not for lack of trying on the second one. He did
That was
almost
his
get this
joke.
place shut down.
What did he say? That you're racist against elves?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh shit.
Various anti-undead countermeasures kicked in against him, and he weaponized that.
I see. Noted. But
Where our
yes.
tavern is a bit more diverse than most places in the city, people who would normally feel like they're a very clean majority sometimes get a bit tense.
Yes.
Not everyone, but it can happen, especially when it's being inflamed.
Well. I'm going to turn to the other party members that are here and just ask, is there anything else about Delmon that I should know that you guys found out while I wasn't in the room earlier, or anything?
Malcolm just shrugs because he wasn't there.
This was while you. Oh right, yes, you came out.
Yeah, with you.
You came out with me, didn't you?
Chris, was there anything else?
The only thing that he mentioned was that he'd had his fair share of hardships and that he wanted Elsyan to do it. That's the only two things that he mentioned while Elsyan wasn't there.
Hmm.
And that the choices he made were difficult, and he knows that what he made in that moment, even though they weren't wrong, they were right at the time.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'm now going to go have a very hard conversation with my uncle about him wanting to die or not,
Mm,
and that it may not be entirely his choice.
do you mind if I observe? I won't get in the way of a family conversation, but I'd like to see how this plays out.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, of course.
Here you go.
Heading outside, back
Damn,
to...
There goes my plan to try and cast Feign Death on the guy.
Going
I don't
back...
have it yet.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Going outside to the... outside of your tavern, you see the guards or otherwise are wandering back and forth within the area. You see that Rook is otherwise standing next to, and otherwise kind of keeping an eye on Delman, who is currently kind of crouched down, knees up to his chest, otherwise kind of hands wrapped around them, kind of swaying back and forth a little bit. You can see his eyes are bloodshot red, as he has been kind of almost very hardly weeping in this situation, and has now kind of just been getting to the grips of this. I would say, without a doubt, all of you kind of just looking at him, he is frightened beyond compare. Something shook him.
Elsyan's gonna go and sit down on the ground next to him. Delman? Silly question, I know, but you're right.
He otherwise slowly shakes his head. He saw through it.
The fact that he couldn't see through it is why the Stem Foundation was going to work, wasn't it?
It's the only thing that was keeping me safe. And now I know it doesn't work. He's been toying with me this entire time.
He's been playing us all. There's no easy way to say this, so I guess I'll just say it. Uncle, do you want to die?
Kind of stops, and he almost reaches his hat, kind of lets go with his hands. You watch as his knees otherwise kind of fall to one side, and he does one of his hands shakily reaches towards yours and kind of gently grabs it, not aggressively or anything of that manner. Do you resist?
No, I don't.
He kind of takes the hand and kind of clasps it. I don't know anymore. I wanted you to be the one to do it, to set everything in motion, to be the one to obtain my old powers, to see what had happened, to use them to destroy something like that. And now... I don't know if that'll help. I don't know if what I've done is right or not.
Did you do it thinking wholeheartedly that what you were doing was right?
You watch as he does attempt to answer, but otherwise kind of stops himself, now very unsure of himself.
I knew in the spirit of this before this. encounter with a being that, quite frankly, none of us should have had any contact with. Did you believe that the System Foundation is the best hope for the Elven Kingdom?
The only way to protect us against such a foe was to shield our minds, to hide ourselves from its presence, to use ourselves like a blind spot. But it just proved that that doesn't matter anymore.
It can see through. I wouldn't lie, Psionics would be a very valuable weapon anyway for the Elven Kingdom. Fear of certain type of power won't lead to any better or worse situations. Apart from... what did he call it before when that happened to my mother when she found out about the elder brother dying, that she went like insane or something?
She was grief-stricken and tried to burn down your house with all of the
Yes.
family in it.
With all the family in it. Mm. That was a thing which happened to psionics every so often.
That's
This sort
something
of-
which does happen to individuals. It can happen to anybody, but to psionics more so, because psionics have the overloaded
yeah.
brain, which is much more sensitive.
Yeah, that's a sensitive mind. Okay. I think in the coming months, I'm going to be trying something foolish. Why stop here, right? There... I feel that the System Foundation should be... I think we should use psionics. Incredibly useful tool and incredibly powerful. But it needs tempering, as do all its users. Self-control becomes the most important aspect of it. And this is going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and probably quite a lot of running away from Bloodbrawn Knights. As I try to convince the Elven Court that maybe they shouldn't just disregard a strong source of power out of hand. Despite history.
He otherwise kind of looks at you almost a bit taken aback at this sudden shift and sway. And you kind of feel his hand begin to shake a lot less with this statement.
At the very least, it will give us yet another weapon to defend ourselves against Malderas and the Mask.
At the mention of the names, he does kind of look at you almost panic-eyed before looking around and noting that nothing changes.
I put up a hand to sort of reassure him. I've done some stupid things recently. One of them more stupid than others, and it's not what you think. But I don't think the System Foundation was a wasted effort, was a bad idea. The reasons for it was in the methods, the covert methods used. While I understand you're protecting yourself, our family, myself, your wife and child, this needs to be done openly. In a way that all the Elven people can know that this is happening. That it is being heavily regulated and heavily watched. May even give the Bloodvars something to do if we end up with anyone going what's a good term for it? insane from it all?
He slowly nods.
Sorry, not the time for dark humor. Okay then. So, I think there's two things left between us. One of them is, unfortunately, due to your practice of necromancy with Sorcerer, down that chaotic grandfather's soul, with that practice of necromancy, Queglod is oathbound. Oathbound? Elsyan turning to Queglod to slay you, to make sure you are dead.
As you can no doubt tell, I am afforded some flexibility on how exactly this is carried out. That's why I've kept you alive so far.
But we want to keep the rest of the family safe. As you noted before,
He nods.
you just dying, just being killed under mysterious circumstances will lead to an investigation. I don't suppose you've got any ideas about this, do you? How we can do it subtly, as painlessly as possible.
He sits there, kind of motionless. If psionics was legalized, I wouldn't need to hide anymore.
That's going to take a lot of time. And I'm not sure we can hold your... Elsyan sort of winces at the saying of death sentence for long enough. How long can we give him, Queglod? Elsyan's sort of looking up at you with pleading eyes.
There's, as far as I can tell, no exact time frame. Once I become convinced that delaying further isn't likely to have much of an effect on the outcome, then I will have to insist. But so long as progress is being made and the potential for more progress remains open, I can delay it for quite a while. There needs to be a plan, though.
How it's going to happen.
How you're
Okay.
going to tie up all these loose ends. I can't simply leave it hanging forever.
Well, What? Gentlemen, tell me, what can you... Changing the subject, we will think of a solid plan. But changing the subject, what do you know of the Prills? Everything you can tell us.
He otherwise pauses. When the extraction team otherwise takes your mother, once I have reported back to them, I can take you to the mansion where I have all my notes. All of them. All the transaction order, the everything.
Okay.
All of the notes that I made on that crest object, all of the details regarding my methods on making psionics, all of my details on the successes and failures so far, the refinement of my projects, the method. All of it.
think that'll be solid thing to do. Yes. Any knowledge we can get about them, the better. I have a feeling that finding them is the next step for something.
I have very little in the way of information regarding them specifically, but when it comes to the methods on what they might be trying to do, I do have some information.
Anything will help us. And if we get Sonics legalized and the System Foundation legalized, there will need to be a skilled psionic being to train them. That will make him continue being useful, won't it, Queglod? Obviously not indefinitely.
Transparency is key here. There are others, should I have fallen or something happened to me, there were others who would take up my mantle. Others with similar capabilities, but ones who do not necessarily know the horrors of what lies beyond, and naivety. But it seemed that he otherwise pauses and kind of scrunches up again.
At present, my sole real concern is information and ensuring that your death is not going to
cause harm.
Spill over to your family. Once those matters are closed, I will be open to reevaluating the situation, but currently, that is the cutoff point.
Very well. He looks up at the two of you. You're a lot stronger than I ever was.
Unfortunately, not a psionic anymore.
Maybe true. But the strength's still there.
That is true.
I'll go back and let them know what's transpired, and that you wish to return with them.
I will be. I'll make my way to the Elven Kingdom tomorrow. I need to have a discussion with Mother away from those nights.
I understand. I'll let her know. Do you have any way of informing your father before he potentially tries anything rash?
Sasha, sweetie! Do you have a spending spell slot?
Probably. I mean, she's literally been unconscious the entire time and then got up and used mass heal, so I imagine she does.
Excellent. Can you send a message to my dad?
What's the message?
Okay. Right. Let's just very quickly hash this out. Do not harm Delman or do anything rash. Elsyan is dealing with it. This is going to be a long play. Anything else, guys? Anything else? Leave Delman alone for now. Stay safe, love you. And you can put whatever you want at the end, Sasha. Oh god, you're just gonna fill it all out with kisses, aren't you?
She puts father-in-law in the end, but not to kill Delman, not to do anything rash. Elsyan will be handling it. There are multiple things that are at play.
And don't tell Mum.
Okay.
about this, about the psionic stuff.
Okay, that one gets thrown in there as well. Okay. With
That's
that,
message sent.
with the message sent, you and Sasha otherwise spending the rest of the day together. The rest of the guests are gone. Delman heads back, escorted by Rook, back to...
Elsyan would like to go along to say goodbye to his mother, and
Okay. Heading there, and otherwise passing by the centre of town. Malcom, given you wanted to otherwise see what the situation was around town, I'll say you go with as well. As you head past the centre of town, otherwise travelling through it, you see that the central tower has suffered some damage, but it's not major. And you do see that there are a large number of guards who have proceeded to move around the kind of interior of this area, including a few adventuring groups that are also moving around the interior of the large tower. You head over to the brass cask, which is otherwise mostly untouched. There are portions of it which are damaged, and you do see an area where maybe a tendril went through and attempted to snatch up something or damage something. But you see the hallway which you left with the disintegrated door and all that has now been destroyed. And the room where your mother is staying has a giant hole in the side of it, excluding the disintegration mark. So they were attacked, but there are no bodies. And you do note that the remaining 3 guards are still there, along with an entourage of elven individuals. Probably around about 16 or so individuals, with what looks to be 2 or 3 powerful mages, and the rest of them are all Bloodbriar Knights.
cool.
As you otherwise do show up, Delman kind of in erect state. Shariel does look over as one of the Bloodbriar Knights kind of moves over to help him as he is brought over. What happened to him?
Seems like some of his spells were backfiring on him. We don't 100% know why. What more powerful spell he cast, the more injured he got.
Would this be deception or persuasion? Because it's technically true.
I'm hiding the truth. I'd say that's deception, personally. Which I really... Oh no, I've got the same bonus in each.
I will allow your choice of deception or persuasion. Obviously the DC will be the same because it'll be their insight versus your... Or her insight versus your deception/persuasion. But I'd like to know which one you're choosing.
This is a dirty 20 with... Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Let's sort of lie to ourselves that it's not actually lying.
Okay. Being a political figure, she does seem to pick up on something there, but she doesn't delve into it too much. She knows that maybe you're not necessarily telling the full truth, but you're saying enough of the truth that she's willing to go along with it.
It's a case of she gets that maybe this isn't something to be said in the large company we're in.
Yes. She otherwise kind of looks at you. Okay.
And how are you? You okay? Did no one hurt you?
They tried. And kind of looks
sure
back at the tavern that's mostly destroyed.
Not the only tavern that's mostly been destroyed. We had a wizard's tower.
I'll be heading back to the Elven Kingdoms. I'll be taking Delman with. Do you want to come with to resolve what's been happening?
I need to spend a little bit of time with Sasha tonight and get some things sorted. I'll be turning up tomorrow is the plan, as long as my teleportation works properly.
I understand.
I'll be there. We have a lot to talk about, and I think it's a private family matter.
Go ahead and roll me another persuasion check. This one with advantage.
Yeah. So we got 2 fucking ones. I'm gonna quit. 21.
She nods. Seemingly, after the events that had transpired, with the whole thing happening at the wedding, something happening, Delman going with you lot after accusing him, Delman showing up and then being the good guy, then going to help you, then coming back in a wrecked state after everything that's happened, plus the attack on the city. A conversation with a potentially deranged son doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially seeing as he's being more forthright and willing to cooperate at this moment. So she seems a lot more relaxed about the situation now.
I am.
She puts up a hand before you get to say I'm sorry. Leave it for the discussion.
Okay. I'll give my love to Father and... Now, this is Sam forgetting. Kira?
Yep.
Kira. And to Kira for me.
She nods.
I'll be by tomorrow. Probably aiming midday-ish. Probably. We have some things we need to sort out tomorrow morning. Probably. Discussions to be had.
She nods.
A busy day.
Very well. She otherwise kind of steps back. You watch as one of the elves is drawing a teleportation circle, completes it, and you watch as all the guards, as the two groups of guards otherwise step into the circles with their respective individuals, Delman and Shariel separately, and they are whisked away. With this, Rook and Elsyan and Queglod, you're all kind of left there. You return back to the tavern and complete from there.
Malcom with us as well?
Malcom has headed off to the tower to see what's happened there.
Cool.
The nature of what you discover, Malcom, regarding the town: the 3 high marshals who otherwise showed up to help defend the city attempted to take on the main Nautiloid. 2 of them went down, and the other one is very badly injured. And from what you gather from kind of speaking and talking to them, they felt that they did the best they could, but without a proper and strong airborne defense, there was nothing that could be done against them. The city was powerless to stop them, even with their magical potential. They don't feel necessarily bad, but they tried. The nature of individuals that have gone missing is in the probably 200 or 300 individuals were taken and are now missing. Several thousand more are injured, and only a handful are dead. Meaning that they weren't here to kill, they were here to steal and injure.
Mm-hmm.
With the nature of what has taken place, this all makes sense. However, with what has happened, you do know that the guards are now on high alert. Everything is kind of in, not necessarily martial law, but in a lockdown sense that people should stay in their homes, that help will be on the way, and things are going from here. It needs to be reported, and everybody needs to be accounted for, taking a census of the city. The marshals, or the high individual, the high marshals, the high templar, and the high governor are all working in tandem with one another to kind of make this function and work to get the city back up and running in a situation where it's not going to be fearful for what happens next. But with the mention of what has happened, you get the general understanding that the High Templar, who was previously working as a kind of undercover individual, defensive wise, they seem to be missing. And you get the general sense that they have been covertly working with Rohal to defuse a lot of the situations and skirmishes around the city after the attack began. The nature of the city is that a lot of buildings were damaged, people were injured, but there were very few casualties outside of those that were taken. They don't know where they went, and there's probably no way of getting them back, so a ceremony will be held in paying respects to those that were taken. From your general understanding of this, Rohal has had to put all tasks on delay to prevent revolt and uprising, for people potentially thinking that they're not trying to get them back, that they're just cutting their losses and leaving it. So you begin to understand that there is potential insurgence and uprising which could become an issue if people don't understand, and the people of the city are trying to figure out and make it work.
I see. Alright.
So, with that, each of you head back to your tavern. Elsyan and Sasha spend time together. The rest of you spend time with family and otherwise concocting various plans before getting a full night's rest. You may all take a long rest after all of that, after all those shenanigans.
Yes, definitely taking a long rest.
Yep, restore all your stuffs. With the next day now rising and showing itself, your understanding of the events that have transpired now beginning to dissipate, no longer being on the mind and forethought. You've taken a long rest, by the way, Elsyan.
Cool.
You all take a long rest, and you all gather yourselves, proceeding to now kind of have all of this experience take place. The next day begins, and thus the conclusion of all that would be taking place occurs. The presents otherwise lie unopened, but still in place downstairs in your lower area. You have otherwise gotten your rest, and is there anything you would wish to do before you proceed with whatever your next steps are?
But I would like to look at the presents, but I want to wait till Harlan's here.
Okay.
That.
That's fine. Are there any which you wish to look over? You note that one of them is not wrapped, and that is otherwise the letter and the stone from Maverick.
Can I tell what that stone is?
It's vaguely magical, but you don't know what it does exactly.
This is where I should know the identify spell. Fuck, I've got a long list of spells that I was supposed to send you a while ago. And I know it's not supposed to be a case of I just know spells conveniently. But how much would identify be?
I'll say I'll double the price for it being in a convenient manner. So
In a convenient manner, yeah, that's fair.
I'll say 200 gold rather than the 100 it would be.
Cool.
Because that'll come out of the list.
Yeah, that'll come up as a...
It's the late stages of the campaign. I'm not going to fuss over you knowing the identify spell when 2 other party members know it. So
Yeah, fair.
And one
Fair
of them
enough.
knows it for free?
And one of them knows it for free once per day. The other
Fuck it,
one
I
has
want to be able to identify.
I mean,
Praise them. Not identify them.
Yeah, but appraise costs a consumable of glass dust and powdered glass, not necessarily sand.
It's the capitalism version of identify.
Yeah, because it gives you a lot more information as well.
Don't you dare say capitalism is more effective than communism. It's true, and that's terrifying about our society.
Anyway,
Well then, yes.
so I'll say with that, you sit down and you kind of look at it.
Like to ritual cast it.
Ritual cast it. That's fine. This is a portal stone.
Ooh.
It works the same way as a amulet of the plains, except it allows you to go to and from certain locations that you yourself have personally visited.
Ooh.
It's a once per day charge, and it allows you to basically cast teleport, provided you've been to a location, without needing to roll.
Ooh.
It can take you and one other creature, notably. So it is not a full casting of this. So it means that you and Sasha could go on a honeymoon anywhere you've previously been, in either of your memories. But you had to have previously been there. If you suffer a false identification, then you suffer the falsehood of teleportation on the table.
Cool. Well. Oh, got the image of us honeymooning in our immense ravine. Terrified for our lives.
It's a getaway spot. It's a very getaway spot, but yeah.
Yeah. It's called a getaway spot because you're in that spot and you want to get away.
Yeah. Yeah. It is otherwise a very rare magical item, and the note that goes with it says, "I'm sorry that I had to get away so soon. I wasn't sure what to get you. Hopefully with this you two can come visit sometime. Maverick."
Nice.
You do not need to attune to it. You just need to. It just gains its charge back at dawn.
Wonderful. I'll be taking that.
Yeah. Looking over the rest of the gifts, you kind of note that everyone has left a gift with the exception of Guardian Riadal and Abod.
Abbott. Better have made me a fucking spell. No. No.
No.
No.
But as you are
Just,
kind of there, you.
Is it in there, or are we
Hmm?
there too? Is it just Elsyan there, or are we there?
I mean, you'd be awake, so you'd probably hear Elsyan downstairs. So if you wanted to get like a cup of tea and then go and stand downstairs and just watch him do stuff, you can. Okay. So you otherwise kind of look at Elsyan as he ritual casts Identify on the portal stone, as you otherwise kind of sit there. You watch as Elsyan doesn't immediately notice it as he's busy casting. You watch as what looks to be an undead pug wander up behind him and just sit behind him.
I want to know. I want you to know that given how high my passive perception is, that's a sneaky pug.
You gotta let it sit there, let him notice.
Yeah. You finish casting.
I was gonna stand up after he sits down when he does ritual casting.
Mhm.
Sort of stands up and glances over the other presents, taking little peeks here or there. Definitely try not to seem like he's opening things up.
Yeah. Some are larger, some are smaller, some are more well wrapped, others are just what look to be slightly heavier, others seem to just be letters. So, but there might be things in them, so you don't want to open them. So, yeah.
I was going to turn around and Bern, how long have you been standing there?
Oh, hello.
Don't
I've just
tell.
been watching you since you started identifying.
Oh, so been here a little while then. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hi, pug. Pug.
You look down
Hey,
and you recognize Dobber, the undead pug that was with Abod when he was first trapped down there.
Dobber?
Dobber. That's why you gave him his name. It was Abod is Dobber backwards, and Dobber is the pug that alerted you all to his presence.
I'm gonna crouch down and look at Dobber. I'm gonna pick Dobber up and give him pets. He's a good boy.
You go to pick Dobber up, and your hands pass right through him, and you immediately understand that he is a programmed illusion.
Oh.
However, with this way, he will never die, and he can't be killed by Queglod.
I can't give the dog head pats.
This was I was behold when they
Wait.
went about.
Wait, I've got
Yep.
it. Okay, right, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Could I cast Minor Illusion to make a hand to give this dog head pats?
I'll allow it.
Yay.
Or Mage Hand. I'll allow either.
You know what? Mage hand works as well.
Mage Hand, the only way to pet illusory dogs.
That's canon now, because that has to be for every illusion.
Yes.
Mage hand can affect them.
Yes.
No, I get it. This will just be for the dog, but still. Pet the dog.
I don't know. It might be a good utility use of Mage Hand. That it can't pass through illusions.
Just smacks an illusion. Illusion doesn't know what to do.
Ooh, that's not supposed to happen. It's like how unseen servants have 1 hit point, but nobody remembers that fact.
Oh god. No. Don't kill all the Farnsworths. But no, I give the dog head pats. That's just great.
You give the dog head pats and it wanders around.
That's great. I like that dog. This is wonderful. Better than that fucking ale, Drake.
Rude.
Rude, but not untrue.
Ooh. With a natural 20 chunk somewhere his ear picks up that he's being dissed.
I give you permission
For the rest of his life runs from the smell of ale.
Poor chunk. Not
Oh,
even
it's
in the
Chonk.
room and getting
Is
dead.
it in the Dragon Sanctuary or?
No,
No,
Chonk is
here.
in the tavern. He's currently being
no.
taken care of by your goblin.
Man, there's so many
Uh,
things about this tavern I've forgotten.
By Fredor.
We have a. Yeah.
Yeah, Fredor.
Yeah.
He was traveling from A to B, and he was like, "Hey, if a job for a bit, I'll take it." And then he settled down, and he set up a gold hoard for Chonk, and has now become not the rightful owner, but the protective guardian of Chonk.
Because Chunk is friend.
Chonk is friend. Yep.
Don't you dare diss my Chunk. You dissed my home, now you diss my Chunk. Rude.
Time passes. Eventually, Sasha / Harlan will arrive. We can backtrack and go over the presents when we get there. When Harlan shows up.
I do say my present is gonna arrive at a later date. I apologize.
That's fine.
Oh, on a similar note, I decided what the present's going to be, but I didn't actually talk to Chris about it, so I have no idea if it's there or not.
Okay. Well, it's fine. You see Rook's present. It is tauntingly and tantalizingly, as you kind of look at it and give it a cursory glance, shaped like a shield. It's a shame he's not going to be here to see the delivery, but that's fine.
What's that? What?
So, eventually the rest of you wake, with the opening of presents, seeing various things, which will... Oh, Harlan's arrived! Perfect timing! Alright, you're awake.
Hello.
You have finished a long rest.
And a long drive.
And a long drive, yes. So yes, you've finished your long rest. You've just woken up on the following day. Delman and Elsyan's mother have headed back to the Elven Kingdoms, and the party will be dealing with all of that when they get there. For right now, you're opening up wedding presents, which we were going to be doing once you got here, which is perfect timing, actually.
Convenient.
Yep.
Right. Elsyan. Elsyan, please tell me that the last 24 hours didn't happen, apart from the wedding part. And, well, actually, no, that wasn't 24 hours ago. Was it, fucking Scion, whatever your name is?
Sasha Dairy. Everything did happen.
Of course it did.
It did, but we are alive. We are well.
This is true.
And we're going to go see my parents. Now,
This is twice now I've been attacked by something that is akin to a god, and have not died. But I feel less good about this one.
Well,
yeah. The rat avatar god, just to make sure everyone's aware.
Well, let's.
The Mormon tyrant. Yeah.
Well, we've got presents.
Yes.
You're right. This suddenly makes everything better.
Before we get started on that, do we want to take a quick break so that Harlan, you can get a little bit situated and everyone can take a break, given that we're at the midpoint here?
That would be helpful. I'll put myself on mute and get everything set up.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Alright, so for the stream, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, so I'm going to be right back, and then when I get back, and once everyone else is here, we should continue. Be back in a mo.
Back in a moment.
Oh, and Simon, if you want to send me what you were going to give them as a wedding gift, then go ahead
Yes.
and do so.
Yeah.
Also gonna message you about that.
Yeah, that's fine. Back in a mo. Alright, what are these awful presents that I have a list of to look at now? No one else is here? Okay.
I'm here.
I am here. I'm just loading everything up still.
Fair enough.
Also, I've got a new mouse, and it has sensitivity buttons on it, and I'm very happy about this.
Ooh. Congratulations on the upgrade.
What do you think about that?
What from game?
Sorry. Is this? Why does the game have a new name?
Shh, the others haven't noticed.
No, I did notice, because I was just not gonna bring it up.
There's one person who hasn't noticed, which is important. That or he has and he just hasn't mentioned it.
Excuse me, I'm gonna leave the game just to double check the name for this.
Are we allowed to say it on stream?
No. Oh, I don't mind if you do, just as long as he doesn't hear. I mean, he said start without him because he's be right back, so he might not be here at the moment.
Sorry, 1 second. I have to give myself all of my spell slots back.
Yep, that's fine.
There are a lot of them that were used up for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, and I used one of your third because you used Ascending to talk to Elsyan's dad to tell him not to murder Hobo Delman.
That's fair. That's fair.
You ended it
I
with
accept
kisses
it.
and father-in-law.
Nice. Very, very Sasha thing to do. I'm very proud of you.
How did that sound to you, Chris?
What have you named?
Hmm. You can give them the option. Oh wait, is the or they're choosing or or you're choosing?
They're choosing.
Okay, then yeah, I'll allow the opportunity, but beware. Beware what power you'll be using.
I know, that's why I'm hesitant.
I don't mind though. Just keep in mind that this could delay campaign 2 by 6 months.
Are we getting a wedding present that could
Any complaints?
delay camp?
In real life time or in like game time?
Bit of column A, bit of column B.
What the fuck are you doing? What? Not in like a bad way, because I'm genuinely curious.
No,
but, like...
this is something which you can decide to take it if you want. Keep in mind, this is going to be a point in the campaign where I hope you don't mind if campaign 2 starts early or late. So yeah, we'll see. But otherwise, I don't mind.
I'm just concerned about how.
I'm just thinking because this is something I don't know how to in character, so...
Yeah, that'll be do a Queglod. We'll just sort out the pricing for that, and that should be fine. Did you finish the other ones, by the way? If you're still here, Simon. I'll take that as a no. That or you're muted. I guess he's not here at the moment. But yeah, I will say to what you have put, Bern, I will allow it, but I say it's your choice if you want to give them that opportunity, because ultimately it's your wedding present. I don't mind. So, it's your choice. Alright, once we have a Simon and a Harlan back, we shall begin. Because Sudz said to carry on without him for now.
I am here. I'm just eating currently.
Okay. So just waiting on Simon then.
Oh, I did look at one of the presents.
Didn't want you all to hear gross chewing sound.
I did
That
look
is
at
fair.
one of the presents, Harlan, without you. It's effectively, what I can tell, is a honeymoon ring.
Oh, that's sweet.
Where we can go together to somewhere where one of us knows, and it will teleport us there. And it will teleport us back again? Can it do it on the same day?
It's once per dawn, so you'd have to go there, stay there, and then come back the next day.
Okay.
You know what? Who says we have to come back in the next day? take a weekend at least.
So, just for clarification to catch you up, real quick, Harlan. The party has discussed Delman's fate. They have decided that they're going to work with Delman to legalize psionics in the Elven Kingdom using various political measures. Then proceeding to, because of what's happened, he seems to have been very shaken by something that's going on, and magic that he thought would protect him proceeded to not, as he discovered at the end of the combat, and that has otherwise shaken him to his core, to the point where he is breaking down. Elsyan has decided that Elsyan and Queglod have come to the conclusion that they are going to let him live for the time being, and that his sentence will be prolonged based on his usefulness, and whether this all proceeds. Once psionics is legalized, his death will be less of a worry, because the family won't be in danger at that point. After that point, his sentence will get closer, the less useful he becomes, and the more replaceable he becomes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Look, I can't have a say on this as much as he is technically like my uncle-in-law.
Yeah.
This is between Elsyan and Queglod and their thoughts.
In the family, yeah. You're going to be going and having a meeting with them.
Yeah,
and-
Elsyan's trying to buy him time, but Queglod does probably think very sensibly not.
What if he converts to Ravenism?
No. I think that would just get him killed quicker.
Yeah.
So why did you convert to Ravenism? Raised an elf from the dead.
Oh. Eldritch Blast.
Like the entire room just pulls their thumb back when making finger guns. Well then.
So anyway, I started blasting.
No, they all make the like noise of their mouth as they do it. Like the canteen, they gotta have a canteen.
I mean, the Wingless probably do, but there's like 4 of them at the moment
They're
that
mostly
Queglod knows
dead.
about.
Mm.
So, you know. But yeah. Other than that, the item that Elsyan's referring to is known as the Portal Stone. It is it acts like a amulet of the planes, but instead of plane shift, it does teleport. So anywhere which you and Elsyan, Elsyan who's taking it, or you who takes it, and the other person that you're taking with you knows of, you can go there without fail, as if a successful roll on a teleportation spell. If you try to imagine somewhere you haven't been, or you have a false information on where you're trying to go because it's a false memory, then the spell will fail as if misinformation has been given, and on the worst possible roll, which could send you to other planes of existence in places you don't know and could break the amulet.
Luckily, I do have Gate. So, worst case scenario, we got an out.
Gate pulls something to you. I don't believe it acts the same
No,
as
you
a
can
plane
actually
shift.
you can make an actual gate. The pulling someone
okay.
to you is just a separate use of it.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
I've been paying a lot of attention to this spell, as I'm sure you can imagine.
That's fair. Yeah, as have I, because I've also noted that any powerful creature can actually just ignore all of the negative effects and shut the gate at will. So
We did establish they have to be like pretty fucking powerful.
yeah, you are looking at very powerful creatures, but
there's no pulling the skin scribe.
There's no pulling the screen scribe. There's no going, oh, let's just bring Ringar to us. There's none of that going on. It's
Okay,
that's
right.
not how that will apply.
We have to ask the questions. Are the Prills strong enough?
You don't know. They also have to be on a different plane of existence to you. So the nature of that means that you do have to be in another plane if they are on the material, and if they're not in the material, then you can do it. But then it depends where they're coming from. So yeah.
That'll be timey-wimey.
Yeah.
Astrological.
It also doesn't
Bullshit
necessarily
going on.
stop them from leaving. It just pulls them through. I don't know if there's a save. I'll look at the specifics of the spell when it's used.
I'm
There
looking
isn't a
at
save.
it. There is
It
one.
just pulls them through. I can then drop it so they can't go back through the portal, but they have other ways to get out. That's on them.
Okay, fair enough.
It just brings them here. So bring them here. Ninth level counter spell when they try to teleport away, just to say no.
Yeah, sure.
Don't say it like that.
Yeah.
If they use a 9th level teleport, I mean, what are you going to do?
Hey, Sudz, I do read my Twitch chat. You don't need to say that. And okay, he did notice the name of the game that I changed. Yes, it is called Choya Dance Party. So what?
Why?
Because Choya are best. Anyway.
Presents.
hmm?
Presents.
Presents. Yes, presents. Going through the
Get on
list,
presents.
are there any presents that you wish to look at first? You've obviously already gotten Mavericks.
Did the Turan leave anything for me?
No.
Worth a try.
But what's the name of your dwarf surrogate father? Ostrich.
Osdric.
Osdric.
Osdric Stonegraven.
I did get some hints about that. I think you'll like it, Sasha. This
Okay.
is a you present. Might be a bit short for me, is what he said.
He's the closest thing to a parent I have left. No offense, Mama Aleuir.
No. My family's my family. You stay away from it. Apart from the fact that you're part of it. Shit.
Yeah, fuck off. Anyway, so we're going with Osdric's present next, if that's okay.
Okay. Opening it up.
Any objections, Elsyan?
No objections.
Opening it up, you otherwise take the simple box and you otherwise kind of open the lid to it, and you otherwise see like fabric on the inside, and as you take it out, it's heavy fabric, as you are given a very hefty but otherwise very well crafted blacksmith's apron, and you can see the symbol of a Turan otherwise set on the front of it. As you otherwise take it and try it on, it perfectly fits Sasha. Elsyan, it's a bit short for you, but you know, you can tie the straps around the back because you're thinner than Sasha, but
You've got a smithing apron.
yeah. But for Sasha, it's like a proper smithing apron that goes down to her knees. For you, it's more like a cook's apron that goes to just above your waist. But
I
hey,
so need to get like "Kiss the Cook" engraved onto this leather.
Not magical, is it?
no, not magical. Just a very well made blacksmith apron.
Aw. I love it. I put it on immediately.
Okay, walking around with that on. Anyone
Over
else?
your armor?
Look,
Yeah?
Over my armor. This is not a strange look for Sasha.
No, it's
Fair
not.
point.
It goes over the armor quite nicely and it does fit. The straps around the back are a little bit hard to otherwise kind of tie off because of the armor, but outside of that, it's not an issue.
Okay, right, we've done one parent. Did my mother leave a present, or did she very rightly take that with her when I...
No,
Oh, good.
you
Wonderful.
see two presents, one from your mother and one from Delman.
Ooh, lovely. And now I know the one from Delman, it probably isn't a bomb.
Chris pulls another 180 on the cannon and just throws a bomb in there because why not?
No, Delman just set up. Hammer of Inquisition. Elsyan dies.
Box opens, the real Delman pops out. It's me.
A small army of psionics burst into town.
Ah, yes.
I was starting to like you.
So, opening up, you see you have a small box from your mother that probably about maybe 3 inches across in each diameter, and is otherwise kind of neatly wrapped with a ribbon. And the one from Delman is an otherwise larger box, probably about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet on from end to end, and is otherwise a longer box.
Which do you want to open first?
Let's go for the longer box.
Okay. Opening it up, this one is from Delman. As you open it up, Sasha, you watch as Elsyan opens it up, his eyes light up. As you watch as Elsyan lifts in and scoops up what looks to be kind of this almost 2 metal sheets pressed together with kind of this kind of a hardened kind of magical exterior to the surface of it and a light enchantment engraved on it, as Elsyan ever so lightly says, "It's a flatbread press." And his eyes are bright, just wide open.
Yeah. This is coming everywhere with us. Does it need to be plugged into some sort of magic? Or does
No.
it have enough magic on its own? Excellent.
It takes a first level spell to power it, and it will make 10 flatbread using 10 bread dough.
Lovely.
So, Malcolm
I
Why
looks
you the
at
ninth
this
level
thing.
spell slot will it
Malcolm,
make 90?
Malcolm, I am no longer eating your bug food. I am going to
You
live
don't
off
even know about
entirely
that.
from flatbread.
You don't even know
Okay,
about
you are
that.
not going to be doing that, sweetheart.
I will entirely. Elsyan
You're
has got
supposed to outlive
magic.
me.
Okay. You know the insanity that Deln was talking about that happens to psionics? That is happening to Elsyan right now about flatbread. I want more flatbread. Get me bread dough!
I can't believe there's a flatbread press. I made those the hard way. The hell?
And you did
Advanced
very well.
elven technology.
We elves like our flatbread. Like that, they'll pretend they're all into fancy foods and stuff, but when no other races are around, we all go to junk food. Our metabolisms are just fucking great.
Damn.
For now.
Does mean we're fairly lightweights.
Have
Apart
you
from
ever
me,
seen a fat elf?
I did once. It was a very sad, like, divorced dad, but meh.
There are plenty of fat elves. Just
He was
you haven't seen
he
many
made a
elves
lovely
this
lunch,
campaign.
lad.
Oh my god.
They
Harlan
live
should
in the
stop making
dwarven
shit.
cities.
They all live in dwarven cities, but nobody recognizes the difference.
That's it.
Oh,
Or
he's
is it
just a
what happens
he's
when
just a
elves
tall
get
beardless
fat?
dwarf. He's just a tall beardless dwarf. Or oh no, that's a human. What about the pointy ears? Oh, ignore that. Probably a half elf or something. Nope, it's just a really fat elf.
Okay, no. Hear me out here. Dwarves are actually just fat elves, and that's why we live less time because we're morbidly obese for elves.
Oh no, this is
that why you're
Because-
short?
not canon.
Yes, the weight pulls our bone structure down.
Oh man, this isn't canon, but sure.
Not canon, very funny.
Not canon, but fun. But yes. So you now have a flatbread press. And to answer your question, no, a 9th level spell would still make a first. It just takes first levels until you run out, and then you start using second levels.
All right, so we can do 80 a day between us.
Pretty much, yeah.
Without expending high level spell slots.
It's just a question of where you're going to get the dough, I guess.
Yeah, the dough you have to make manually, so...
Good luck with
Presumably you're
that.
going to get Malcolm to make it for you, but...
Good luck with that.
I think I can use it like 60 times.
Well, a first level spell slot for you is 2 points. So how
Yeah.
many points do you have?
124. I will be completely useless after, but I can make it 62 times.
600 flatbreads. Part goes up to the boss. You just get that Wreck-It Ralph scene when he's just chucking the pancakes into the bunny, but it's you guys with flatbread into the final boss. Anyway. So yes, you have a flatbread iron.
Wonderful. Okay, let's open my
And
mother's gift. She can't top it.
Opening up the other one from your mother, you see within what looks to be 2 sets of very fine elven jewellery. One that has been what looks to be vaguely enchanted, which seems to be for Sasha, and one which is less enchanted for you, Elsyan. The nature of the enchantment and your basic understanding is it has been made fundamentally magic so that they don't need Sasha's measurements. The nature of it seems to be 2 sets of rings and a necklace each.
Wow.
And the sets of rings are well decorated. They're both kind of elven white steel, otherwise bound in 2 branch-like fashions to them. And then the necklace itself seems to be made up of a white steel kind of chain with several gemstones otherwise hanging from them independently, which you can tell seem to be small diamonds. So the nature of expense has been spent here, and these are very valuable jewellery. As a full set, you could...
Oh, this is awesome!
As a full set...
I mean, we've really killed the diamond industry, so this is like worth a lot more than it should be right now.
Yeah. If you looking with a keen eye from Sasha, I'd say you guess that the set in total is probably worth about 5,000 gold, 2,500 each, which for politicians is still quite a lot. So a lot has been spent on this.
Sorry, she put it as expenses.
Of course. Along with the family duck house. That's just what's done.
Mm.
The second home by the coasts.
Yeah.
And lunch. And travel expenses.
So
That one's reasonable, though.
as you're otherwise opening the presents, a Sasha, you notice a illusory undead dog wander in, and otherwise just sits next to the presence. And Elsyan, you've already met this, but you, Queglod, everybody who hasn't seen it already, who may have been missing when it was described, you see what looks to be a programmed illusion of the undead dog Dobber.
Did we kill Dobber?
Can you kill
Yes.
him, or did you?
Or did we kill him? The original Dobber.
You put him to
Yes, sir.
rest, yes. Kill, not so much. Put him to rest, yes, because he, after Abod was freed, he thanked Dobber for his work, and Queglod put his soul to rest.
Oh, that's chill. Yeah. Okay.
And
Is this
was...
another gift, or is this just a thing that Abod does?
This is a gift from This is his gift from Abod. It has been specifically crafted so that it can be petted with Mage Hand or any illusion-based spell.
Sasha,
Oh, great.
Do you know...
I don't get to pet the dog.
Using illusory dragon to pet the dog.
You look over, see Elsyan starting to like do the cast for illusory dragon, and just starts putting it down again as you joke about it.
Oh. I mean, is an Abod here, or...
No, the Abods are currently back down underground because the tower was destroyed along with Simulacrum, so he's busy making a new one.
Fair.
Again.
Yeah.
By the end of the campaign, he would have gone through like 4 rubies just to
That-
make
I will
you
say
guys.
this. I will say this. That particular Abod had a ring of mind shielding.
Yeah, they'll be looking through the loot of that stuff during the last 3 months of the time skip.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So-
don't worry, that stuff
I'm
will
just
be
saying, like,
recovered.
His memories may be able to be transferred or something.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was the purpose for it. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody else in particular gifts that you want to go through, or shall I just go down the list in order that I have here?
Go down the list in order.
Yeah, go down the list. Nothing in particular springs out at me
Okay.
as...
Taking up Regan's gift, it is heavy. It is in a big kind of wooden box, and sliding open the lid, you see a black steel crucible inside. Well fashioned, well decorated, and very durable. This is something that, when used in the furnace, will be or in the smeltery, will be very, very useful for all of you who do smithing, which I believe is like 4 party members at the moment.
Yeah.
The one for Rohal,
Including Elsyan.
The gift from Rohal is a symbol. It's a simple envelope, and as you otherwise kind of pull it open, take a look, you see inside what looks to be a single ticket which says all you can eat on it, with what looks to be a kind of 2 sushi rolls next to it. Malcom, you've eaten there before. You recognise this. This is Gourmet Sushi's restaurant in the Undercity of the Phoenix.
Sushi.
Gourmet Sushi is the name of the restaurant, and the individual owns a chain of food. You also remember him for being a tuna triton.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's dark.
It
I
is,
remember.
but that's just how he is. But you remember him as he was one of the chefs who originally kind of helped you learn your cooking skills. But yes, so Gourmet Sushi's restaurant, you have an all-you-can-eat ticket for that, so you can use that whenever you want to. Gree got you 2 a box of chocolates.
Why is that the most suspicious thing?
It's a simple box of chocolates, and yeah.
I'm inciting this box of chocolates. Like, is
Go
there
ahead.
poison?
Go ahead and
Is
roll
it,
me
like-
a medicine or nature check. I'll allow both of you to do this, given it's your gift.
I'm going medicine. I think I'm pretty good at medicine, frankly.
Okay. And Elsyan, if you wish to make a nature or medicine check for this, you are welcome to do so. I think Elsyan's
That is a
Gone
plus
AFK
11,
for a
so that is
moment.
19.
I have, so I just...
That's fine.
19 on a medicine check.
19 on a medicine check. You look at them, You give them a sniff. Something's off about them. But you're not entirely sure why.
Wait, what?
I read the packaging.
There is no packaging. The packaging itself is just a kind of a box that it's set in. There's individual wrappings for each of them, but there's no like packaging on what each of them are flavored or anything. It's just chocolates.
Oh no.
Malcolm, can you use your cooking knowledge to work out what the fuck's wrong with these? Because something doesn't feel right, and I don't know what. But my Sasha senses are tingling.
Malcolm looks at the chocolates.
Okay.
They look alright.
If you wish to make me
Look like
a
normal chocolates.
cook's utensils intelligence, you don't have to tell them the information, but you can learn
I don't
it.
have to tell him anything, but I can learn what it is.
Go ahead. Let's see if you can get a high enough roll to figure it out. This is with your intelligence for your cook's utensils. Ooh, that's good.
Let's see.
He's got proficiency with cook's utensils, so it's got to be like 23 at least.
Yeah, he also has the +2 bonus, so...
Just gonna double check what it is. This is intelligence.
Yep.
That's with a +12.
Yeah. So that's a 29.
Yeah.
Iced.
There you
You're,
go.
you're typing it.
They're normal. They are normal chocolates. Don't worry.
Can I insight Malcolm?
I'd say make it with disadvantage, as you'd have no reason to distrust him.
I distrust everyone right
If they
now.
if they were bad, then you would have no reason to that he'd probably tell you. If they were fine, they'd be fine. Yeah, they're fine.
Okay, this is not good. I mean, it's still a 13. Like, it's still pretty good, but I like it. Okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
Right, I trust you, Malcolm. And once that trust is broken, it can never be fixed. And I'm going to pop a chocolate in my mouth.
Okay, you put a chocolate in your mouth. It tastes quite nice. Custom chocolate. Kind of a little bit of a hazelnut in the middle. It's nice. Yeah, it's chocolate.
See? Normal chocolates.
I still don't believe it. I've eaten one and I just do not believe it. Right. He's even managed to fool Malcolm. What secrets do you hold? I'm just screaming at the box. Elsyan, would you like one?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'll have one.
Okay.
I'm
Elsyan
gonna
takes
do
chocolate.
the thing where I unwrap it. No. I'm doing the thing where I take it out, I unwrap it, I pop it in his mouth.
Okay. It's nice. It's a very nice chocolate. Again, has a hazelnut in the middle. Seems like it's been a handcrafted chocolate. It's very nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Chocolate.
It seems so lovely that I find them suspicious.
Next on the list, you have another package. This one is more tightly wrapped. And as you open it up, it is from Markoth. And you have 3 packs of fruit loaf.
Oh.
Homemade. You can see that they have been crafted with some of the more what looks to be delicate and seasonal fruits and herbs that would otherwise be found in or fruits and berries, sorry, which would be found in the marsh. But otherwise, very well made and yeah, reminiscent of him.
Well, we are having this for dessert tonight.
Nice.
As you otherwise kind of look through, you see a gift from Ozbone.
Shit, I forgot he came.
Yeah. He came and left relatively quickly due to who he is. As you otherwise open it up, you see inside. You otherwise take a look, and Elsyan, you kind of look over, and you see what looks to be what you would recognize as flatbread. Fairly simple. Just simple flatbread. Yet, as you otherwise kind of begin to unpack it more, you see a variety of flavorings and garnishes all set in their own kind of small kind of ceramic pots with small kind of sealed lids on them, and each of them is labelled as kind of a build-it-yourself taco set almost, but with elven flatbread.
Oh, yes.
Shishkreek made you your wedding clothes, so you've already got those. From Negriel, you receive what look to be kind of these, what looks to be another envelope, much like the rest. As you open it up and take a look inside, you see what looks to be two tickets. And as you get a look, they are free tickets to the Church of Steel's arena fights. You know from basic knowledge and from Rook going there, a ticket probably goes for around 5 gold. However, the nature of these is they are on the house seats. So you can get as close as you want, and you get a full ream of being able to explore and see the monsters, which typical civilians can't do outside of being esteemed fighters. So these tickets are probably 150 gold each.
Nice.
That's what he can give. Going through to the next one.
I include it. Like, WrestleMania is great, guys. I mean, not a trademarked name.
No, sure not. Monster Mania. There we go.
Monster Mania. There we go.
That'll do.
Actually, I think that might actually be the monster truck one.
Oh well. Elsyan, you're here at the moment. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
This particular one is to your liking, as this one is from Kathox, the gold dragon that used to be part of Malcolm's family through his great grandfather. As you kind of open up, as you otherwise unwrap it, you see that it is a book, a simple book. And as you otherwise begin to look through it, you begin to pick up that this is a tome of bountiful lore. It is a much better book of lore, as it otherwise answers a lot of unanswered questions about places around the world, not just the Elven Kingdom and the Empire.
Yes.
So,
I played with my old one. Is it magical in any way? I don't want to get it disintegrated.
no, it is just otherwise a condensed version of all of the lore of a lot of the world since the atrocities, and a little bit pre-atrocities as well. So a lot of extra information compared to your book of lore, and you now have one. So you can refer to it once again.
Nice.
From Bella, the Annis Hag. They're not wrapped, but you do have what looks to be a glass jar filled with what looks to be pickle juice, and 2 bones floating inside. You don't know what they do, but...
What? 2 pickled bones?
Looks like it.
I'm worried about these pickled bones.
Can I have a look at them?
Go ahead and roll me a nature check, or
Appraise.
if you want to appraise.
Yeah.
Okay. Spending the dust of the spell slot to do so. You look at it, kind of holding it with the appraise. This was made by Bella, probably about 2 weeks ago, when she got the letter, letting her know that she's invited. Did you say something, Malcolm, or?
No, I said I forgot to mute my mic and said hello, cat.
Oh, okay. As you otherwise kind of look at it, getting the details, it's not that old. It's made by Bella. These are bone runes. You take one out and you bite it. The bone will then disappear, and it will give you the magic held within it, which is a healing potion. The bones are not reusable. However, the jar and its pickle juice is. The jar and the pickle juice has no purpose outside of pickling.
I need to learn how to make.
It's very confusing to me.
When you say that it is reusable,
the jar and
so
the pickle
anything I
juice you
put
can
in here
use
becomes
to pickle.
pickled?
Anything you put in here you can pickle. Yeah, it will take a long time to pickle because of the nature of pickling things. But the bones themselves are the magic for it. They're placed in here for flavour / magic. You don't know, and it's confusing. It's a jar of pickling. Non-magical item, but sure. Yeah. So you have a pickle jar and 2 health potions in the form of bones.
Nice.
You see what looks to be another gift. This one isn't wrapped, but it is in a kind of a wooden crate. This one is from Malcolm's family, and it seems to be a variety of herbs and spices. Large variety. There are roots in there, probably about 35 GP worth. But given the nature of
Ooh, that's a lot of spice.
knowing who they are, it is a lot of spices and herbs, and given how cheap they are traditionally, but the nature of what they've gathered is slightly higher quality, and the amount that they've gathered would be, to them, probably the equivalent of a week's wages, so it's quite a bit for them. And the final gift that you get, or no, the two final gifts that you get. The last gift is given to you in the morning when you receive a letter. And the letter is addressed to Elsyan, Sasha, and Bern.
Why the fuck is this motherfucker getting in on our gifts? What lies did you tell people, Bern?
Bern, you're not part of this relationship. You know that, right? We don't. Your mustache is very magnificent, but unfortunately, you know what? Never mind. Let's open the present, see what context this can give.
As you open it up, you see the following letter written inside. To the newlyweds, I hope that your wedding day was as wonderful as my own. I hope that you have a long-lasting friendship and happiness. I know that you may not be able to use this, but while your friend Bern lives, I hope he'll find a use for this. And you see inside the details for the teleportation circle for Oregon.
Fuck it.
Oh shit!
Bern, that's...
Oh,
We can both use that.
Yeah, they didn't know that at the time, though.
No, that's entirely fair.
alright. I'll start
Wait,
writing
who
it down.
sent this?
The Emperor himself.
Jesus!
You know what?
Well, this. You know what?
It's
We're
about
trading this.
time.
Okay, fair, but also, this is going to be worth a lot of money. I mean, he signed it.
Sasha, this is a wedding gift.
Yes, I know, but
Sell
when we're
wedding
old
gifts
and
until
dead,
5
our
years'
great
time.
great grandchildren
Sasha,
could sell it if they need money.
Sasha, wait 5 years.
Oh, I was planning to wait until after we're dead, but okay.
Sasha, now we all know you just don't. Oh, never mind.
Just fucking refuse to die.
Elsyan starts saying it, then tapers.
Get things back to yeah.
Oh,
Look.
And
I'm still not dead, so that's pretty good.
pretty good.
And the final gift that you receive. Eventually, Zuvan otherwise kind of enters in after you all kind of had your early morning breakfast. And kind of looking at you. It wasn't really convenient to give these to you yesterday, but I hope that these would find a use with you. And he places what look to be 2 tickets to the Silken Serpentine of the highest order.
Oh.
On the table to you two. So you can ask for what you will.
This could get incredibly uncomfortable on stream.
Harlan.
I'm kidding.
Now, for the gifts...
what? A couple's massage sounds lovely.
The only other thing which does kind of come up here is the rest of your party's gifts. Rook otherwise hands you a gift. It is wrapped. It looks ominously like a shield.
Yes. I start to unwrap it.
Okay.
Very excited, obviously.
He gives you a big grin and maintains eye contact. As you finish opening it, it's a well-made shield. It's nice. Why does it have property of Sasha written on it?
What?
You then have a look and you realize you made this shield. You sold this shield in the shop.
It's he? Okay, right. Did he just take one of Sasha's shields and give it to us as a gift?
He paid for one of Sasha's shields and gave it to Sasha as a gift.
Rook, you cheeky bastard.
It's a shame he's not here.
You sick, cheeky bastard. I want to say a worse word, but I shouldn't say it on stream.
Right, Elsyan, my sweet.
Yes.
Please cast Hold Person on the bastards whilst I beat him to death with my own shield.
Sasha, Sasha, no, we need to work through the rage. Count to 10 slowly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Slowly, Sasha!
As slow as I'm willing to go.
Okay.
I'll
Right.
do it. 1, 10.
So,
Fair.
I believe Malcolm's wedding gift was the wedding cake, which he
Yes.
made.
It was a very lovely
The
cake.
other two
Thank you
party
very much again.
the other two party members, you may offer your gifts if you wish.
Mine is gonna take a little bit to arrive, but I will give it to you when it's here.
Take your time, Bern. We're just thankful to have you here with us. Inside, I'm going, motherfucker.
This gift, he knew the wedding 3 months beforehand. Stupid son of a...
But no, genuinely, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Ominously in time with Elsyan towards Queglod.
Queglod,
Mhm.
oldest friend here?
Indeed. I assume everything's okay with what I sent you, Chris.
Yes, it is.
Okie dokie. Right. Hopefully you will like these and get some use out of them. Hold up. 2 ornately crafted bracelets, both with metal chain straps. One appears to be gold with like subtle silver highlights. The other is the opposite, silver with gold highlights. Into the gold one is set a small but very delicately crafted, very delicately cut ruby, and the other is an identical emerald. These are silent
Aw.
tongues. Whilst you're wearing one, you can cast the message spell on the other at will.
Ooh.
Ooh.
There is a
That's-
range limit, so do be careful.
That
How
range limit
far?
is?
I believe you asked for an
At
improved
least,
range
yes.
limit.
Given how trivial the base
Yeah.
enchantment would be for me at this point.
Yeah, the
It's
nature
at
of
least 120 feet.
at least 120 feet. The further you go, the more crackly the message becomes until it goes to static or no message at all.
Nice. So what?
Nice.
Okay. Well, this is a absolutely wonderful gift, Queglod. Thank you.
Non-attunement,
It'll
by
be
the
cool.
way.
I was going to. Say.
Non-attunement. It's just message to any of the other silent tongues that have been created. It cannot message anything else. So it's just between you two until Queglod sends the other silent tongues to the rest of the party, which will be at the end of the time skip, I believe.
I suppose so. Yeah, I've still got those.
Yeah, you still had loads of time, and
Mm-hmm.
I pop mine on.
I also put
Presumably
mine
mine
on.
is the one with the ruby, right?
Yes, yeah.
Mine's the one with the emerald. Of course it is.
We're stereotypes, guys.
No, we're not stereotypes. We just are deep within our racist cultures, and it's amazing we found love with each other.
maybe that love was there all along. Anyway,
Maybe we're a sign for the elven and dwarven people to be able to get along incredibly strongly.
You say that like the entirety of.
Shut up!
Yes.
Like Golodon doesn't exist.
don't worry, campaign 2 is going to be far more racist between the two clans. Anyway,
Wonderful.
Yay.
That's it. Should be.
yay!
Fantasy racism.
Racism. Between dwarves and elves only. Or dwarves and other dwarves. We'll see.
Look, the entirety of the war between elves and dwarves is just sexual tension.
Probably.
Are you telling me that Gimli and Legolas?
Oh, okay, that's not even in question. He literally took him to elf heaven with him.
Oh, so Gimli had shed a single tear when he said side by side with a friend. On that day, Gimli was friend-zoned. Anyway, back on track to what
boy.
we're actually doing. You finish opening up your gifts, spending some time with everyone kind of discussing the next matter. And what is your means to getting to the Elven Kingdoms?
Okay then. Can I take someone with me? You know what? The that new thing I got.
Portal
Not
stone?
the new thing. The portal stone. Was that certain that it was certain it would get me to where we
Yeah.
want to go?
It provided you've been there before, it's an 100% chance that you'll get there, but you can only take one other person with you.
Okay, right. How many people want to go to the Elven Kingdom with me?
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely going.
Sasha's coming. That's for certain.
I'm
No,
happy to come along if you have space.
Sorry, what are we going there for?
I need to finish off things with my family that I couldn't do with the other guys. The Blood Knights nearby. I couldn't do it because it's discussing psionics. So we're gonna go talk in our own home and yeah.
Like, probably
that-
also put up some spells or something, because be careful.
That we'll leave to them. I could spend. You know what? If we use this stone, we'll have to spend a day there anyway because I'm not. Don't know how teleporting back using another spell would work and may get funky. Magic is weird.
Oh, I can just use Word of Recall.
That's also true. But teleport normally only gets us there on our own, and teleportation circle can only go to another teleportation circle. Am I right or am I wrong?
Correct. Unfortunately, your one in Adamanthia has recently been destroyed.
Yep, I mean I have teleportation circle as a spell.
Question: If you use like a wish, does the
It should
time
do
limit
this.
to make it permanent count as a restriction?
Well, you didn't have that restriction anyway because the teleportation circle was still being made. It's just that only you guys could use it. That's the restriction I made because otherwise you'd have to wait a year for it to be permanent.
No, I meant, can we use the wish spell to make it permanent?
You
We
could,
could,
however,
but
the
I don't want to
parameters of the
cripple
spell,
myself.
yeah, the parameters of the spell probably extend to beyond the base casting of it. At
Fair
that
enough.
point.
Well then, I think Queglod, it can only be 2 of us, and I need Sasha for greater restoration.
That's quite alright.
Okay.
I apologize. We'll go together and formally figure out what's happening with Delman.
Okay.
That's fine.
If you need anything, just sending to us.
Of course.
Okay.
That's also the other reason I've got Sasha.
Okay. With that being the case, Malcolm, did you
I'm a
want
telephone.
to knock your other plan into action at this point then?
What other?
Malcolm?
Hmm?
Did you want to knock your other plan into action at this point then if it's just Sasha and Elsyan going to the Elven Kingdoms?
Sure.
Okay. So, for the sake of brevity for Malcolm's side on that bit, you take your family back to... with the help of Bern, you take your family back to their home before heading to the Barren Lands to complete the next portion of your objective with Queglod, Rook, and Bern in tow to go with. As you...
Keep in touch.
Yep. And as your bit will require discussion, I'll go to... I'll finish off the Malcolm bit first, if that's alright.
Well,
Of course.
As each of you lands in the Barren Lands, using whatever means is necessary, you arrive at the capital. The stalag nest before you, for the capital, grand and wonderful as it stands there. The individuals moving around, it is a otherwise welcome sight to be back here. But the reason for your return is a little bit of a emotional one. As you move up to the main court chambers, after requesting an audience with the head of the Clan of Clay's leader, Behold's father, you four approach him. With Queglod, I believe you were the one clutching the Behir skull.
Mhm.
Okay. You called for me, Prince Malcom? He kind of
Yeah.
slams his fist on his chest, otherwise giving a light bow.
It's time for us to have that chat with Queglod here. Gesturing towards Queglod.
Of course.
If you will, Queglod.
If I'm not mistaken, you were Behold's father, weren't you?
He's taken aback by the statement, as he otherwise does look. You knew my son?
Indeed.
How is he?
No longer with us, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to have to tell you.
You watch as his mouth otherwise kind of shuts and his head bows slightly. I see. How did he die?
Fighting. We were investigating a group that had been attacked, and the creature that was attacking them came upon us. He was able to withstand their mental attack and took the brunt of the fight. Without his efforts in that fight, we most likely would not have prevailed.
You watch as he otherwise looks at the two of you. Kind of pauses, and you watch as he otherwise does. His fists do begin to clench.
I have something of his here for you. I will pass over the Behir skull. It's the skull of a Behir. He slew it when first we met, back in the Highlands.
He gingerly kind of takes the skull, and you see what may have once been anger kind of begins to dissipate and simmer away to kind of a moment of sadness as he does hold the skull to him. Thank you for giving this to me. I'd like to excuse myself.
Of course.
He nods and otherwise leaves.
Okay. While he's gone, I'd like to speak into the lantern to Behold. I don't know what sort of state your father is in, if it would be useful for him or not, but if it would you like to say goodbye?
Well, Behold. What was that?
Yes, apologies for putting you on the spot there, Infernal.
I forgot this was happening. I would have waited.
Okay. Well, that was a yes from
Okay.
Behold.
Maybe like explain it to the man before you jump. Oh, well, also here's your son's ghost.
Yeah, that does mean I'm waiting for him to return.
Okay.
He's excused himself.
About 5 to 10 minutes later, he does come back, and you see that he otherwise has tied the Behir skull to his belt. Traditional Barrenlandic style, same as Rook does, same as Behold would have, with other skulls.
Proud Goliath, Dad. TM.
Don't worry. He'll find out in like 7 months or so that we've put a tracking, a hearing device on it.
We are not pulling a Delman.
Why not?
'Cause we
Why
didn't
would we
plan
need
for
to?
it.
I mean, Malcolm's going to be his boss eventually.
That is a fair
True.
point. So he returns. He does otherwise kind of wander back, and he seems to be a little bit more stalwart. Is that all you wish to discuss?
There is one other thing. As you may be able to tell from my attire, I am an emissary of the Raven Queen. As such, I am empowered to make special allowances in certain occasions. If you would like, I can allow you a chance to say goodbye.
You watch as he does begin to tear up before he kind of wipes away the tears and just nods. His, unfortunately, total of a 2 for his intelligence to understand what you meant before you said showing him to him. He didn't understand and wasn't prepared for the emotional events.
Okay.
Like father, like son, with negative intelligence.
Alright, I am going to hold out Nightmaker, and I'm going to call forth Behold.
The wisp, shadow, and mist begins to kind of drip and pool away from Nightmaker as it begins to form forward. You see what would usually be kind of the spectral flowing form of an individual in kind of a cloaked garment with kind of the skeletal but very vaguely spectral featured form is much more elegant here in this scenario. As you see, the shadowed form is dissipated, and you see a Behold as you once knew him. His traditional clothing that he was wearing, kind of the bare chest covered with the runes and the tattooed markings. You see him standing there, the battle axe and what you would otherwise recognise as what used to be Chillsbane, currently planted in the side into the ground next to him, where he has his traditional battle axe on his back. Kind of the spectral form there, as you see, as Behold, you stand there before your father. He's older than you remember, although so are you. You see that he has otherwise begun to grow out attempting to grow out portions of a light kind of chin beard, but is unsuccessful in quite a lot of ways. He similarly carries the battle axe on his back, the one that you remember him getting, and the one showing off to you. He wears kind of the heavier belt that you remember him wearing, and the tattoos that cover his form. As he does otherwise stand there, he begins to lightly tear up as he looks at you in awe. Oh, you're quiet, Infernal.
Hello?
Hello.
Hold stands there for a bit. Looking up. Before tears start going down, he runs over to them.
Okay. Running over with the kind of lightly spectral form, you do wrap your arms around him, although it does sink into the kind of plasma nature of your form in this instance, but you feel kind of that warm hug, his body heat and your kind of cold nature. The two of them clash as he does respond with a wrapping hug around you, both of you crying in this instance. He sniffs.
Can I talk in this one?
Hmm?
Can I talk in this one?
Can you what?
Can I talk in this one?
Yeah. You're quiet again, I think.
I'm sorry.
He wraps his arms around yours. I'm sorry too.
I wasn't able to take over the clan.
I wasn't there to protect you. You both stand there embraced in that moment, feeling kind of the warmth and the sorrow off of each other. Tears running down both of your faces. You are now free of rest. And in this moment you watch as Behold's spirit begins to fade, dissipating and put to rest within the halls of memories. As the spirit otherwise lets go of, as Behold's spirit otherwise lets go of his father and drifts backwards, you watch as the form begins to slowly dissipate, fading further and further away until he is gone. Behold's father otherwise looks at you with a smile, yet tears running down his face. Thank you, Queglod. Malcom, thank you.
I'm sorry.
No. You did me a service by bringing my son here and laying him to rest. Thank you. Both of you. He places his hand on the Bahir skull, bows to the two of you and leaves.
Okay, I bow back to him as he leaves, and then
Would love to bow, but I'm not allowed to.
You can.
apologies.
I get a random
Mm.
queen out of nowhere to punch me.
Queen just
Just
comes
dives in from
flying.
off screen.
Just
What?
drop kicks you.
No.
Says, "Do not bow, you little shit."
Okay. With that, we move on to Elsyan and Sasha in the Elven Kingdoms.
Now, look, I'm not saying we should have the honeymoon entirely in Galadon. I just think it would be nice to visit, honey.
Look, that Galadon is fine, but Sasha, dear, look at me, clasping Sasha's head in both my hands. Look at me. More important
I had
shit.
a hard not.
Right at this second. Get prepared. You know the worry about my mother being a psycho that might try to kill us? Well, after you cast Great Restoration on her, there's a reason I've got Hold Person prepared.
Nice, nice. Is that upcast or?
I don't think it does.
Oh, we might be in trouble.
Upcasting
We
whole
might
person
be.
just targets more people.
Yeah, it does. Right.
How?
let me-
Let's
let
go
me-
and deal with her.
Okay. With
Yes.
the portal stone in hand, holding Sasha's hand, the two of you whisked away. Your feet landing on the green grass of the Elven Kingdom, the area here. Teleporting in isn't necessarily an issue, and people recognizing an elf is no issue at all. But some people do see a dwarf, which does raise concerns and questions. But that's none of your business right now. Where would you like to head
What?
while you have this discussion?
I would like to. Sasha, can you send a message to Delman to meet us at sending to Delman to meet us at my parents' house? In fact, we can go. They're not too far away from each other, are they?
No, but you...
No, they're like a very short walk.
I'd say just to preserve spell slots in this instance, you know that Delman sent his family to your father's place because
oh
of
yeah,
what
because his
happened.
place got wrecked.
Yeah.
Shit happened. Okay, right. Well, let's go to the old family home and have a terrifying conversation where we've got to convince my mother the Greater Restoration is good and that she needs to have it cast on her, and
Then
hope...
convince her not to kill everyone.
Exactly.
Again, as long as there's some sort of body, I can bring your brothers back from the dead.
They have to be willing, and after all this time, I'm not sure they would be.
We can have Queglod talk to them. You know, we can see what we can
I'm
do.
also not 100% sure Queglod would be comfortable with waiting this long after a death to then resurrect them.
God lets me do it, so I should be allowed to do it.
Sure, God
Elsyan,
doesn't.
I'd like you to make me an intelligence check.
This is a flat intelligence.
This is just a flat intelligence, and I think you're the only one who'd be
Every
able
time
to
you get a 1,
put this
and then you-
together.
This is a 14.
14. You know that a wish was used in this instance, that all
Yeah.
memories of
Oh,
them were
no.
removed, as was all physical evidence. Their
Oh,
physical
no.
body and soul ceases to exist.
You know true resurrection, right?
It won't affect, if there's no soul, it will create a mimicry. You don't know what the
Oh,
result
God.
will be.
Oh,
Okay, I mean, you did specify all physical evidence. I don't think souls count as physical.
but magic is real and so are souls. It's
Oh no!
It goes both ways. You don't know the nature of what the soul will be in, because it has no body and it had no proper rest. You don't know whether this
Okay.
means the soul will be tortured. You don't know whether the soul is free. You don't know if the
it's just
soul
been cast into
exists.
oblivion.
You don't
Yeah.
know if the soul that you have, or the soul that you'll get, will just be
It's the right one.
a puppeteered one that's been manufactured by the ether to try and fill the space of the spell. You don't know. It's a risk, and with the role being kind of as it was, it's hard to tell the nature of it, but you know that all physical evidence was removed by the wish that was cast that
You know what?
had the prolonged negative effect.
We'll ask Delman, because if anyone's going to know what
Um,
the fuck has happened to them, he would. Also, I'm just wondering why he didn't use a fucking, like, revivify or something.
No, because as much as it hurts to say, one brother just OD'd on Mistweed. Another one was about to expose the entire family in a way that was going to lead us all to be killed, myself included. As much as I
I'm
hate
just
to
thinking,
say,
like-
mate, they should have their rest. They're both tortured
Fair
souls anyway.
Fair enough. We really should work out, though, if their souls are actually been put to rest or what's going on there, because that's
course.
deeply concerning.
Of course, not important right now. Right, I think we are just about here. I am going to walk in like I'm gonna knock on the front door. I'm not gonna walk in like
I
know
walk
the
in like
place.
I'm going to inherit the place.
Okay.
Like I'm going to inherit the place one day, as long as I stay on my parents' good side and there's not
Oh,
a lot
that
of
might be ending
estate
today.
tax. Or not. Depends if my mother tries to kill me.
We'll see.
Right then.
Farnsworth opens the door to you all. As the two of you enter, Farnsworth welcomes you back. He kind of nods to each of
Farnsworth,
you.
I-
Yes, sir.
Question. I'm guessing there aren't any Bloodbride Knights around, are there?
No, just the house guard, sir. But
Excellent.
they're running the perimeter at the moment, seeing as we have Delman here, and we heard that you were coming.
Yes. I would like to have a private conversation with.
Yes, I believe that's what was discussed. So the house knights are running the perimeter to make sure no one is about.
Make sure no one's about to.
Yes.
Farnsworth.
Yes.
How's the baby?
She's doing fine.
Gosh.
She's had her morning meal.
Excellent.
She's otherwise sleeping at the moment, but if she follows her usual schedule, she'll be awake in the next 2 or so hours.
I would like to hold her. Right. No. At the mention of Kira, Elsyan's face gets the softest it's ever been.
Oh, that's adorable. Here, I wanted you to have this, just on the off chance it ever came up again. I hand him my Mace of Disruption, just to really whack something if you need to.
Okay. Sleight of hand check for him to conceal it. It's an 11.
You'll be surprised what a butler can do, Chris.
Yeah, I know. It is an 11, though. He takes it, and he goes, I'll do what I can with this. He kind of pauses, but thank you.
Right then. Alright, let's go talk to your in-laws.
He leads you in to the main...
You're related to them.
to the main lounge area, where you see your mother and father are currently waiting. Your mother is currently just sat there looking relatively confused with what's going on, as Delman does kind of sit separated from them, an obvious schism between him and your father, as he does kind of sit separated from it all and is kind of just
Right.
well, he seems to be just tending to himself. What you see him and his wife sat there, and their child currently sat in the center of the room playing, as
Right.
or crawling, I should say.
As we step in, just because Elsyan's a bit paranoid about this whole conversation,
Mhm.
I'm gonna cast like detect magic on the room.
Okay. That's fair.
If that's alright, see if there's any like weird magic happening somewhere here.
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Wonderful. That is a natural 7, so 16. Oh, that's only +9. Interesting.
At this instant, you look around. You don't see anything like a scrying sensor. You don't see any kind of magical auras that give off anything outside of Delman himself, who, at this moment, you can see is coated with layers of magic. Natural magic, just due to his sheer strength. Ones that he didn't have on the previous days. Not necessarily protective, or not necessarily protective magics in this instance, but you feel some kind of magic was used to protect him previously on the previous days, to hide him,
Okay.
and he has now taken off those layers of protection, the amulet of non-detection, as you get the sense that now that he knows none of his layers of protection are working, he no longer needs them. He's come to the realization that he's not safe, so he's just not using them.
Hey, Delman.
You
Hello.
watch as Delman otherwise looks up. He kind of turns to his wife, kind of mutters a few things as she otherwise goes up, scoops up his child, and they kind of leave the room. Kind of, she gives a slight curtsy and bow to you as she does leave.
Yes.
Before you go, I'm going to hand over. I'm going to hand over 10 platinum pieces. Buy the baby something nice.
She kind of takes the
Like
coins.
an ice cream or something. That's how much that costs now, right?
Okay, Sasha, we are not
Thank
so
you.
far removed from normal people that we don't understand the concept of money, and that platinum is not what you spend on ice cream. I can only apologize for my new dwarf.
I'll be honest. I'm mostly doing this because I want you to have an excuse to be away from here for a bit. I think things are going to get.
She does kind of nod and kind of cradling the 1-year-old leaves without buying an ice cream, heading into one of the other rooms, potentially up to where Kira is. You don't know. She just heads off elsewhere.
Right.
As Delman sits there, you pull up a chair or a sofa for yourself, whichever.
Right. Elsyan
I
does a
know
proper
to-
formal elven greeting. May the stars gaze upon you all kindly, and the moon always set and bring you dawn. Whatever bullshit we else do, in full elven, of course.
Yep.
I will follow along. I have not learned Elven, but I have specifically learned like one of these just to make a good impression.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a
This is gonna go
performance
so
check.
poorly. Oh yeah. You
One,
know that's
one
what
good
I want,
time to
Chris.
use performance. Yeah. Let's go with this.
It is an 8. I
Okay.
don't believe I have any bonuses to that. Nope.
Nice. You say it. It's not fluent and it's not good, and there are times when like the words they make sense, but then Sasha says like some of them not necessarily out of order, but with a slightly different dialect to the point that they start meaning other words. Nothing offensive, nothing out of it, but there are moments where they can see that she's trying.
Right. Now,
An attempt was made.
An attempt was made.
I for the benefit of Sasha, will talk in common.
As will we, I imagine.
Well,
Your mother
thank
otherwise
God.
says to you, I do hope that this is all going to go okay. I've been vaguely filled in as to what's been going on.
Hmm.
She looks at Delman, looks at her husband. From what I understand, as you otherwise kind of take your seats, from what I've been informed, Delman has done something in the past to protect the family. Something that involved mental manipulation and sealing away a portion of my power, as well as proceeding to continue to work on his psionics as I originally had asked him to. And that you leaving was because of that mental manipulation originally, and that he'd been trying to keep you away.
Yes.
He's already informed me of this, and I can only apologize for the confusion that has been born from this.
No, that was. I shouldn't have brought it up. One thing, shouldn't have brought it up while drunk. Shouldn't have done any of this. Should have just left it. But didn't. And events transpired. Now, Mother, throughout this, we need you to stay incredibly calm.
I understand. Delman has explained to me the nature of what he did and what has happened. He hasn't explained to me fully what he removed, as he did say that he'd prefer you to be here for that conversation, but that you had a plan for what would come next?
With the aid of Sasha here, we can use the spell Great Restoration to remove the effect put on your mind. You will remember it as it happened to your mind. By the accounts we know of, you had a poor reaction.
I see.
And a violent one. This is...
She looks at Delman. What kind of reaction? If you tell me this, I'm maybe more prepared for it. But I would like to ask that you tell me beforehand. I'm not going to agree to any of this until I know what I may have tried to do.
Tried to burn down the house, Mother. You tried to burn down the house with Father, Kira, and myself in it?
Kira wasn't.
Kira was not born.
Kira
Wasn't there.
Kira
With
wasn't even
myself.
conceived then. At that point.
Yes,
Farnsworth and
with
Father.
With Father and I in it.
As well as Delman.
As well as Delman, you completely lost yourself.
She looks at Delman, she looks at your father, and kind of pauses as she looks at him, as he kind of lowers his head in shame, as does Delman. Would it be worth telling me what I'm going to remember now, before all of this?
Right.
You mentioned that there were things that weren't quite right originally when we spoke, when you were drunk. Things that you'd done. You watch as she does begin to connect things at this point. I get to make a wisdom save for her.
Elsyan is sort of closing his eyes as I'm guessing the realization starts coming across her face. He's just going...
Okay. The realization does begin to come across her face as she begins to put together that she did have two older sons. You begin to watch as, without the use of a Great Restoration spell, her memories do begin to kind of, not flood back, but begin to slowly trickle back as you watch the recollection kind of preparing for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Rovelus. Thalos.
Yes. While his methods were, in hindsight, incredibly poor choice, given everything that's happened. Delman did act with the best interest of the family at heart. Which one was it? Misread overdosed. That was
Rovolus. Nope,
That was
Rovolus was
Rovolus.
pushed. Thalos was
Yes,
the one that overdosed.
Thalos. Yes. Thalos got cocky. Thought he could be better than he was. He took the misread as effectively psionic enhancing drugs, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. There's Rovolus. Got cocky. Thought that taking misread would be a good way to boost his power. Took too much and he died. Thalos, I am ashamed to say, my hands were those that pushed him.
To which Delman intercedes. But I was the one in control. I was the one who controlled Elsyan in that time, and Rovolus was going mad. The psionics were getting to him. He'd stagnated and hit at a point. He couldn't achieve what Thalos could, and Thalos overdosed. Rovolus... He kind of cuts himself off.
He was going to expose the entire family, and you know what would have happened if even one of us was seen to be researching psionics, let alone had skill in it. The Bloodbriars would have hunted us down to the last.
Okay. I would like you to go ahead and make me a persuasion check. Delman will do the same. This will be a prolonged skill check. You will get a total of 3 attempts to continue to heal your mother. If you do not meet the grand total DC between all of your rolls by then, you will have failed to persuade her.
Okay, first one is a 19.
19 total. It's a good start. Delman... oh, I need to get his stat block up. Whoops.
Should be a persuasive piece of shit.
Give uno momento, por favor. Oh, that's right. I cleared all of my stuff when I downloaded CC Cleaners. Now I have to go back in and find it. Hold up. Powerful characters? He's either in there or bosses. Yeah, here he is. Persuasion. He is proficient. He's expertised. Even better. That's why the DC is so high. Okay. Okay, that is a 24 total on his part. So what did you get total?
I got 19.
19, so that's 43 so far. Okay.
I can also assist if you like, I just don't think it will work.
In this instance, there'd need to be some form of talking from you. In the event of using Greater Restoration, you would have been able to give advantage on all of these. But unfortunately, that also increases the DC because it floods back rather than
comes back as so the memories are properly coming back to her.
The memories are properly coming back, but the nature of the DC is lower because it wasn't a flood. But that also means that Sasha can't give advantage through the use of Greater Restoration for all of your checks.
Okay.
Unless Sasha wishes to talk, but then that
means...
I'd
quite like to. I was just staying out of this because it seemed like an Elsyan thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
If I'm allowed to talk.
Sasha, of course you are. You're part of this family now.
Yeah, you're welcome to. It's okay.
Miss Aleuir, I very much know the pain of losing family. I was the only survivor of a horrible attack on my home. I woke up after being knocked out, to find all of my family dead and gone. I promise you, I know that pain. And I promise you, it fades over time. Never goes away. But there is still hope. You have a wonderful son who admittedly had a rough patch. Like, good God, what a rough patch. But he's doing all right now. You have a beautiful daughter. And you have family who are here for you. I know that may not seem like much, given, first of all, you're re-experiencing this after having it being hidden for so long. Turns to Delman. But hopefully we can help. We're here to help you if you'll let us.
You watch the mention of Kira kind of kicks in. Emiriel otherwise grabs Shariel's hand kind of gently and does smile. She's right. I've recently remembered, and as much as I feel sad, I wanted you to remember more, and I wanted this to be resolved properly so we could be a family again. I don't want to see Elsyan torn away from us again. For her sake, for yours, for everyone in this family. Both new, looking at Sasha, and old, looking at Elsyan.
Oh. Genuinely touched.
I would like
They'd
you,
like
Sasha, to roll me a persuasion check alongside Emiriel here.
Emil, okay.
Nice.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good roll
nice.
on his part.
Nice, not
Oh.
bad.
Persuasion. That is a +6, so that is a 22.
22. Ooh, plus his
Yeah,
roll
I'm
of 20.
surprisingly good at persuasion.
Yeah, plus his 24
I've got
from
a
his
+5.
really high.
You're better than me.
Yeah, plus his oh no, sorry, math wrong. No, he got 22 as well because he's got +5, and that's an extra 17 on his part. So that's 44. Okay, doing well. 87 so far is your total DC, and one more check to go.
Do we know what the big DC is?
No, you may have already passed it, but the final check is necessary for the proceedings of this.
Yeah.
Who does the final check?
Oh, that'll be me.
That'll be up to you two. At this moment, you watch as Shariel otherwise kind of hold her own.
I mean, I could give another awkward gift if you like.
Don't you dare.
Disadvantage. Oh no. Shariel otherwise looks up.
What if I genuinely have one that
How-
might...
How? This
Shariel otherwise looks up at this moment, kind of looks around at all of you, kind of. The memories are beginning to almost flood back, and you watch as there's almost this twinge as her head does kind of twist slightly to one side. As Delman looks concerned and looks at you, Elsyan.
I sort of put a hand up to calm Delman more than anything.
Okay.
This, as I'll go over and take her hands in mine, sort of kneeling down in front of her.
Okay.
I can only apologize for what I said, what happened in the past couple of days, past day, I guess, and what happened over the past year. This is, I explained before, I thought it was you that caused a lot of this. I want nothing more than us to be a family again, for us to spend time with each other, for us to heal what's been broken through painful, tragic necessity.
You watch as her hand lets go of Emiriel's and immediately rises up to the side of her head, where her head is currently shaking slightly. You immediately hear kind of a message from Delman. She's getting her psionics back.
Oh, I'm gonna keep holding on to the hand that I've got. Looking at. In fact, Elsyan's gonna, as she's finger spelling, Elsyan's gonna go up and hug her tightly, in a sort of reassuring way, not to stop her from shaking, but just so that she knows someone is there, solidly with her. That makes sense.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check with advantage, please.
So I'm laughing at this. Yes, that is a 30.
That'll do it. You otherwise move up, and as you otherwise hug her tightly, deep breaths, kind of feeling her heartbeat against yours, you almost begin to feel the sensation of the psionics again, almost creeping back into you before you feel a tempered smoothness. Almost this strange shield-like effect beginning to take hold around you. One that you've felt before, one that you know has happened to you, one that happened when you died and you began learning from the book, protecting you from the psionic energy. And as you kind of feel the Tome of the Third Mind at your side, kind of the hefty weight giving you this slight boost in energy, you hold her close and you feel her psionic energy begin to die down and relax. Then the warm kind of tears begin to press in as she embraces you closely. Emiriel moves up, goes in for a hug. Delman remains separated from it, though.
Elsyan's got tears going down his face. Just, I don't know what to say now.
You watch as she is kind of rubbing her head in almost a shaking motion. Don't say anything. She just holds you there. Sasha, do you go and join the group hug?
Elsyan puts out a hand for Sasha. Sasha, get in here!
Look, you don't even have to ask. I'm already there.
Oh,
I've been creeping up behind the
shot.
stealth hug.
Roll me a stealth check with disadvantage because of plate armor.
What if we've both been nat 20s, you assholes?
Let's do it.
Oh, no. Oh.
No, it's so close to 2 natural 18s, though.
It
No.
hurts.
You clank up, go for a hug. Delman remains separated from it all.
Okay, right.
But your mother is stable.
I'm removing myself from the hug, physically picking up Delman and forcefully putting him into the hug.
Come into the hug.
Roll me a strength check.
As
Well, an athletics versus his
Do
acrobatics.
I really need to? He is an elf wizard who is frail.
He can use his acrobatics. Is he proficient? No. But
nat 1. I'm just like, get up, you little shit. Join the hug. Your family is having an emotional moment. And I'm just like,
okay.
Slowly tugging at him in like the most ineffectual manner possible.
Elman, join this hug, or so help me, I actually don't know what I would do. Just get in here.
He slowly rises and kind of wanders over and joins the hug, if not kind of sheepishly.
I then return to the hug after.
Okay.
I don't want anyone to blame Delman for what he did. Uncle, he, as misguided as it was, he did what he thought was right. And in our long lives, we've all made grave errors. I've been gone from this family, what, a year is it? It wasn't quite at the start. It was a bit before the start of the campaign, wasn't it? A couple months.
Yeah.
Been.
It's been about a year since the start of the campaign, and you spent 5 months away from family at that point. So year and a half.
It's been just under a mere year and a half. We're elves. That time means nothing to us. We'll repair what we've got. Mourn those who we've lost. And try to move on with this as a family should.
Okay.
As Elsyan sort of steps out of the hug. Unfortunately, though, there is one final bit of heartbreak, even given what I just said about Delman. I think you two have a right to know. Look at my parents.
Okay. They both look back, kind of lightly confused as your mother is, kind of still a little bit upset, but your father does kind of look up emotionally, and Delman kind of backs away back to his seat, head bowed.
Oh, this isn't easy. This isn't gonna be. Oh, this is gonna be so bad, so bad. All right, just gonna say it. There is a member of our party, Queglod Prill. Lovely woman. One of the most sensible people I know.
Your mother shows a sign of recognition on the word Prill.
Yes, those Prills. Yes, she is related to them. No, she. What I thought we had between us, she actually has between her and her parents.
Elsyan,
Yes.
you hear Delman say, I don't want to ruin this moment, but maybe it's better we discuss this after this is settled.
You sure? Well, probably for the best.
Your mother kind of looks curious and kind of looks up.
Just
No. You started. Finish.
damn.
Make your choice.
I made my choice. Made my bed, and then I've got to lie in it. Funny enough, Grandpa Sovak used to say to us, "This is related. Jokes are not what I should be doing right now." Help me, Sasha. Hold my hand.
I hold Elsyan's hand. Also, I'm going to go. This is going to be a lot. I think maybe with the emotional roller coaster, cups of tea.
Yes, I think so. Farnsworth. He otherwise leans in. Yes, sir. Bring us cups of tea, please. He nods.
I like the thought.
Heads
I like the
away.
thought that he nods, leaves the room, and just comes in with the tea trolley already prepared.
Yeah, pretty
He's
much.
a good butler.
He's a good butler. You see a mace of disruption hanging from his waist.
The mace.
Look, this man needs to be protected at all costs.
Understood.
A good butler is hard to fucking find. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Willis.
Swear. Right.
Just remember,
once
peasants are
everyone's
all
got their-
equipped with a club. Farnsworth is equipped with a mace with disruption.
Right.
Look,
Okay.
If undead or demons come to harm the family, smack.
They'll be fine.
I know we're running late, but still, just well, my dear uncle raised Grandpa Sovak from the dead.
They both look at Delman
As
with almost shock, as I believe your father was vaguely told this.
now, you remember Grandpa Sovak? Eccentric doesn't cover it. Utterly insane also doesn't quite cover it. Uncle, it's a case of this was in his last will and testament. Yes, he
He
wished to be
unfolds
resurrected.
a piece of paper and kind of hands it over.
He wished to be resurrected as a skeleton to, I believe, quote, fuck with the family.
That is the case, yes.
Great sense of humor. Not in this case, because this is then led Delman to practice necromancy, which Queglod Diz and her order are distinctly against. And I don't think we can stay Queglod's hand in this. It's the one thing I think I might disagree with her on, but please don't tell her I said that.
We're working on it. You know, be just generally be of some you get yourself in a position where you're useful, and you're good. Just that's where we're at currently.
Delvin speaks up. They've been kind enough to make it so that so long as I'm undoing my old mistakes, as long as I'm making things better, they're willing to postpone my passing to the next life until I have either fixed it all or am of no longer any use. I have no objection to this. Yes, I have a child to raise still, but... He kind of looks at Elsyan. I feel like a godfather should be able to raise a son in the absence of its father.
Elsyan sort of turns around, looking behind him, hoping Farnsworth is behind him. Nope. Me got... Just,
After everything that's happened...
Elsyan's thinking, you've seen what god I've been worshipping. I am not a godfather.
I've
anyway.
seen the things that you've faced. I believe you are better than I at that. My death will not be swift. It will take time. Looking at Shariel and Emiriel. It's not going to be instant either. There will be time, and I will have time with my son, but there will be a time where I need to pass on. When such a time happens, I will accept it gladly.
Only fair
Oh,
that...
you're such a wet blanket, Delvin. Come on, we'll find a way to fix it.
Sasha, we've got to argue with Queglod about this. When have we ever won an argument with Queglod about anything? This is what she believes in most deeply.
Okay, yes.
I'm not against it.
Look,
okay. You're not helping your own case here, Delvin.
I know.
I'd rather not. Look, I have very little family left, and now you guys are family, so I'd rather avoid losing you, if that's okay. For as long as possible.
I have no death wish, but now that everything that has happened, I'd be willing to go peacefully when the time comes, but I'm in no rush to get there.
Right. That is all the sad stuff out of the way. If Sasha's right for that, I would, and you will allow it, I would like to stay here for a couple days. There's some other things I'd like to discuss, but now is not the time.
You can stay here as long as you like, Elsyan. You're both welcome whenever.
Thank you so much. And I must say, Delman, that elven flatbread iron is a godsend. Elsyan purposely trying to lighten the mood.
There's a pause as he's kind of taken aback by it. And that is where we will end the scene there. As the persuading of Elsyan's mother to remain sane and intact after her mental overload, as the now conclusion and the now proceeding to diffuse the remainder of the arc of Aleuir, the party levels up, and that will be the end of the session for tonight. I'll do the level up after the session is over, and for those who wish to head out, because it is late, and I will sort those out later in the week. But for those watching, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will be back next week for the proceedings of what they want to do next, as the end of the time skip will ensue, followed by your next well-laid plans. So
Yeah.
we
well
will
laid
see you
plans.
then. All right, take care.
Mm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.